Alright folks, this is gonna be a wild one. Grab your magnifying glasses and put on your detective hats because today we're uncovering all the errors, goofs, and little slip-ups hidden in Gravity Falls. We love this show to death, but even the most mysterious town in Oregon can't escape a few oopsies. And yes, we did our best to find all the little mistakes hidden in our favorite show, Gravity Falls. And for the real detail-oriented fans under us, we also made a few mistakes in this video. Can you find them? Let us know in the comments below. Let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Okay, so in the first episode, Tourist Trapped, let's start with the biggest mystery of all. Where is Gravity Falls actually located? Oregon, right? But where in Oregon exactly? Well, in the episode Tourist Trapped, Gravity Falls is shown to be located smack dab in the center of the state. But in later episodes, Gravity Falls seems to be located somewhere in eastern Oregon, as shown here in the episode Scary OK, for example.
Just as I suspected. Gentlemen, we're going to Gravity Falls.
Either Gravity Falls is playing some interdimensional hopscotch, or the animators had second thoughts. Speaking of maps, if you ever find yourself in Corvallis, Oregon, good luck spelling it because the animators sure couldn't do it. You didn't get that as well, did you? On the map I just showed you, it's spelled Corvallis. Close, but no mystery shack prize for that one. Now let's talk about a true mystery. The case of the disappearing camera bag. One guy in Stan's tour group proudly wears a camera bag over his shoulder. But after Stan shows off the legendary Sasquatch, yes, you heard that right, the bag just vanishes. Maybe the bag was so horrified it quit. Dipper might be a great investigator, but what about his reading skills? Questionable. He reads the words studying out loud, even though the page clearly says researching.
It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since I began studying.
Is it a classic case of reading what you think it says instead of what's actually there? Or was it a mistake on the voiceover guy's side? What do you guys think? Have you ever noticed how the Mystery Shack's triangle window just can't make up its mind? From the inside, the triangle has an eye with a pupil. But when you step outside, suddenly the pupil disappears. Maybe Bill Cipher is just messing with the decor. Or does this have some interdimensional meaning behind it? I guess we'll never know. Now, remember how Dipper continues to make entries in the journal in this episode? At the end of the episode, he makes his own entry in the journal.
This journal told me there was no one in Gravity Falls I could trust.
However, check this out. When Dipper shows Journal 3 to Mabel, there's already a page he wrote later in the episode. Either time travel's involved or someone in the animation department got a little ahead of themselves. Speaking of the journal, the pages love to play musical chairs. When Dipper first opens the book in front of Mabel, the page that says, "Trust no one," is immediately followed by the introduction. But wait, shouldn't the introduction be at the beginning of the book? Let's see. Check this. Yep, the introduction page should be at the start. I think the journal has a habit of reorganizing itself. Or the animators just shuffled the deck wrong. Now for some hat-related chaos. During the chase scene, a shot from behind the mystery cart shows Dipper mysteriously missing his signature cap. Even before the scene where he loses his cap trying to get the gnome off his face.
It's getting closer!
But don't worry, it magically reappears in the next shot. Maybe it fell off and teleported back onto his head? Or maybe the animator just didn't get his morning coffee. And that's not the only thing moving around on its own. After Dipper throws a shovel at the gnomes, the crashed mystery cart somehow changes position. Notice how the distance between Dipper and the cart changes? That's definitely an animation slip-up. Here's one you probably didn't notice. When Dipper and Mabel grab each other in fear, a chunk of Dipper's hair vanishes on the left side of his head. Just poof, gone. For a second, he's rocking an accidental undercut. Mabel's hair also has a mind of its own. When she accepts Jeff's engagement ring, some leaves magically appear in her hair, but in the very next shot, completely gone.
It's the bride.
Well, don't mind if I do.
Either she shook them out incredibly fast, or Bill Cipher appeared early to help Mabel with his own interdimensional skills. And for the final goof of the episode, we have a little ventriloquist magic. When Mabel is picking out something from the Mystery Shack's inventory, you can hear her cheering in excitement, but her mouth is completely closed.
Ooh.
Ventriloquism. That's certainly a nice skill to have, Mabel. Or maybe she's just developing telepathic powers. Well, since we'll never find out, we should move on to the next episode. I do get the feeling that this won't be the last time the animators made this slip up. In the episode The Legend of Gobblewonker, when McGucket shouts, "Aw, banjo polish," and storms off, his mouth doesn't move.
Oh, donkey spittle! Your banjo polish!
This means that either the animators forgot to animate his lips, or McGucket has ascended to a higher plane where he can communicate entirely through sheer frustration. Given how weird Gravity Falls is, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the latter. Also, my feeling was spot on. Now, Mabel's fantasies are kind of strange.
Hey, boys. You can look, but you can't touch.
But we are not here to discuss how strange someone's fantasies are, even though this one definitely is. We are here to find out the mistakes. And I just found another one. In Mabel's fantasy, Zyler originally has blue sunglasses and Kraz has pink ones. After Mabel squeaks out there, both pairs are pink. Either we're witnessing the world's most subtle magic trick, or they're just so cool that their shades morph to match their vibe. Now, Seuss is not behind others when it comes to silly goofs. Check this out. In this episode, Seuss's shirt gets torn in the fight with the beavers, and then he loses his shirt completely, going full naked. In the next shot, his shirt is miraculously back in place.
Say fishing.
Fishing.
Dude, am I in the frame?
Now, unless Seuss keeps extra shirts with him at all times, this is just completely impossible. Or a silly animation mistake. Okay, you have to admit that Seuss has had a lot of battles to fight lately. First, he went one-on-one with the beavers, and now he has to fight the Gobblewonker.
What are you doing?
But if you change your focus from how unfortunate Seuss is to his cameras, you'll find out that they never end. Seuss throws cameras at the Gobblewonker like he's in some kind of bizarre boss battle, and somehow more cameras just appear in his hand. Let's watch that again.
What are you doing?
Either Seuss has access to an interdimensional camera supply, or he's got some sleight of hand skills we don't know about. Now, it's impossible not to have at least one typo in a Gravity Falls episode. Check this out. McGucket's newspaper initially reads, "Now with less typos." In the next shot, it changes to, "Now with less typo." So either the newspaper itself is gaslighting us, or someone in Gravity Falls desperately needs a copy editor. On some TV captions, Seuss' name is misspelled as Zeus. Honestly, this is the kind of mistake I want to believe is canon. Seuss would totally believe he's the god of lightning if you told him. And finally, watch this scene.
Dude, if it makes you feel any better, I got tons of pictures of those beavers, dude! Why would that make me feel better?
Whoa, that's one intense chase scene. Maybe it's because of that, but the animators forgot to keep the wardrobe consistent. When Seuss grabs Dipper's life jacket while running from the Gobblewonker, it pulls up his shirt, exposing his stomach. In the next shot, his shirt is miraculously back in place. Either Dipper has lightning-fast reflexes to fix his wardrobe mid-sprint, or the animators went, close enough. Moving on to the third episode of Season 1, Headhunters, which is once again filled with multiple goofs and silly mistakes. First up, we have Mabel's eyebrows and eyelashes completely disappearing right before she starts talking.
Are you saying you could outwit Duck-tective?
Looks like the animators forgot to draw them for some frames. Next up, we have Stan introducing the wax figures, and Wax Larry King is almost as tall as Wax Sherlock Holmes. Or at least his head is at the same level as Sherlock's hand. But in later shorts, he suddenly shrinks. It could be that Larry was feeling slouchy that day, but I think it's just a plain old animation mistake. Now, did you guys notice how Mabel's artistic side is full of magic? Mabel's sculpture sketches are mysteriously colored in, despite the fact that she's only using a regular pencil.
Dipper! What do you think of my wax figure idea? She's part fairy princess and part horse fairy princess.
Either Mabel has next level shading skills, or the animators forgot the difference between lead pencils and color pencils. Now, I know that Wax Stan has a lot of mystery history behind him, but this is not one of them. I think this is one of those animation errors. First, see this.
He's got a little brain up in his head.
What do we have here? So, Wax Stan has his head chopped off and is lying on the ground, right? But Wax Stan is missing in the shot where Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Durland make fun of Dipper. Did he get up and leave? Did someone melt him down early? We may never know. Also, when Mabel says, "even us," in one scene, the button on her disposable camera completely disappears.
Gasp! Even us!
Watch this. Button? No button. Maybe she squeezed it too hard and it just popped off. We all know that Gravity Falls is the king of codes and puzzles, but this one is definitely a goof. As Dipper and Mabel leave the Mystery Shack to find Manly Dan, a mysterious code appears in the bottom right corner of the screen. G/F#103 BCT 126. Is it a production note that wasn't erased? A cryptic message left by Bill Cipher? Or just another mistake on the animator's side? The world may never know. Also, Dipper and Mabel scribble on Mickey R's row of their suspect checklist, since both of his hands were injured. But in a later scene, that mark has somehow moved to the Angry Ladies row instead. Either the paper is haunted, or these two really need to work on their penmanship. When the security footage of Toby Determined is shown for the first time, the clock starts at 10 o'clock, and the seconds tick forward.
Were you the night of the break-in?
But when we see the footage again, it's still at 10 o'clock, with the seconds reset. Apparently, Toby is so boring that even time refuses to move forward when he's on screen. And a few seconds later, Mabel shows Toby an issue of the Gravity Falls Gossiper with a photo of Wax Stan's head. But in the Wax Sherlock Holmes flashback, Holmes took the head away. Either the newspaper has the fastest reporters in history, or this is just a straight-up mistake. Also, when Wax Sherlock Holmes decapitates Wax Stan, the Fez design changes to a simple crescent instead of its usual intricate symbol. Maybe Wax Fez designs are just that fragile, or the animators aren't diligent enough. I'll leave the decision up to you guys. Do let us know in the comments. Now watch this.
Magic. We're cursed. Cursed to come to life whenever the moon is waxing.
Okay, so we have one thing. The wax figures claim they come alive during a waxing moon, right? Then why can't they stick to the script? During their battle with Dipper, the moon is clearly waning. So much for supernatural accuracy. During the credits, Wax Larry King talks to Mabel from a vent near the sofa.
Llama hair. Llamas are nature's greatest warriors.
Good advice, Larry. I hope Mabel will act upon your advice. Too bad, though, that the vent doesn't actually exist in any other shot except for this one. Did Larry King carve his own escape route off screen? Or is it another one of these animation goofs? Maybe we'll find out someday. Now we're going to dive into the fourth episode, The Hand That Rocks the Mabel. First up, we have this. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? It's just an exterior shot of Mystery Shack just before Mabel shows Dipper her makeover. But if you look closely, the Mystery Shack sign says World Popov instead of World Famous. Looks like Stan is expanding the brand into nonsense. Before Mabel shows Dipper her makeover, his book looks like Journal 2 instead of Journal 3. That's a serious problem, you know? Why? Journal 2 is currently in Gideon's possession. Even Alex Hirsch confirmed this was an animation mistake. Good to know that even the creator acknowledges the chaos in Gravity Falls. Okay, we all know what Gravity Falls is famous for, right? Yep, random disappearances. Check this.
You and Sis get to do boy stuff all the time.
What do you mean?
Hey, dude, you ready to blow up these hot dogs in the microwave one by one?
Am I?
Dipper sets Journal 3 down on the arm of the chair. But when Seuss walks in, the book is just gone. Is this a mistake, or is it Bill attempting to pull the book into another dimension? Talking about random appearances and disappearances, here's another one. While playing video games, Mabel's sweater collar briefly gains stripes, only for them to disappear in the next shot. It could be that her sweater has a glitch, or maybe it's just the animators having fun with the details. Let me tell you, these disappearances are never going to end. Like this.
A night of enchantment awaits, my lady.
Oh boy.
Did you catch that? Comment below on the thing that disappeared in the scene. Now, let me tell you, when Gideon arrives on horseback to pick up Mabel, her blush vanishes for one shot. Her face is having second thoughts about this whole situation. The Gideon effect needs to be studied because everything seems to be glitching when he's in sight. For example, in one scene, Gideon is seen burning a photo of Dipper and Mabel out of anger. But wait, where did that picture come from? Because if I remember correctly, the picture that he is burning isn't on his door in any previous shots. Either he slapped it up there seconds before setting it on fire, or the animators forgot to add it earlier. Moving on, we have a magical headband. Don't believe me? Check this out.
Glad everything's back to normal. Your turn.
Yeah, man.
Mabel's headband starts off seafoam green, then turns red when the phone rings, only to switch back afterward. A color-changing accessory? Trendy. Or more likely, just another animation oopsie. At the end of the episode, Gideon closes Journal 2, but one of its gold corners briefly turns red.
You'll see.
Looks like even the journals suffer from an identity crisis. During the end credits, Seuss spins like a disco ball after getting the jewels on his body as a part of Mabel's makeover. However, if you look closely, Seuss's light reflections move in the opposite direction of his spinning. Is this some new anti-physics dance move or just an animation mistake? Also, the lights on the wall travel much slower than Seuss's spinning. Check it again. Looks like the animators forgot to sync up the motion. I think Gravity Falls has a thing for animators who failed high school physics. What do you guys think? Now we are moving on to the next episode titled The Inconveniencing. But first, let's have a quick quiz. What do you call a person who can write with both hands? And if your answer is ambidextrous, then that's wrong. Your options are Dipper or a goof. Because in The Inconveniencing, the 5th episode, when Dipper pretends to write something down, the pen switches hands every other shot.
Dipper!
What? Yes, yeah.
Aren't you gonna get in on this?
A truly ambidextrous legend. Also, in the shot you just saw, the pen is in his hands, but in the very next shot, it's mounted on the back of the pad.
Dipper!
What? Yes, yeah.
So
maybe the pen is the issue? What do you guys think? Now watch this.
Got big plans for tonight, huh?
Yeah, all right, let's get out of here.
In the car.
Sorry, kid.
So we all saw Tambry getting into the van with the gang, right? But when Thompson is driving to Dusk to Dawn, she's just gone. Did she ghost them early, or did the animators forget to draw her? And did you guys notice Dipper's pine tree hat logo suddenly getting a thick black outline when Mabel says this?
This is gonna blow someone's mind.
Mabel, please.
What? Am I embarrassing you?
Maybe his hat wanted extra attention. Or maybe the animators just didn't pay extra attention. The fence around Dusk to Dawn changes height in different shots. Here it's a different height, and here it's different, and here, different again. Either it's growing and shrinking on command, or the animators just weren't keeping track. While Mabel spins on the ground after jumping over the fence, her shock and skin color briefly swap places. Is Gravity Falls hinting towards wearing socks made out of human skin? Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just the animators having worse coloring skills than toddlers. Now at first, Leah's on the same side of the fence as everyone else.
Come on, Dipper.
But when he pushes Dipper off, he's suddenly climbing from the outside.
Hey, you know what? There you go.
Either he teleported or someone wasn't paying attention to continuity. Okay, a button disappears. Makes sense. A hat disappears? Understandable. But disappearing leggings? That's just extreme. And that is exactly what happened when Dipper's trying to open the vent in one shot. It's very hard to forget your leggings at home, so this one is definitely the animator's fault. Now watch this. So Dipper wipes the dust off the newspaper. Nothing wrong with that, right? Wrong. The newspaper title changes from USA Week to USA News when Dipper wipes the dust off. Did Dipper dust off the letters, or was it just another goof? Also, Robbie's pimples completely vanish when he and Nate put ice in Thompson's pants. What's up with that? A temporary glow-up? After Dipper spills the ice, it disappears in a top-down view, only to reappear later. I mean, how hard is it to keep track of the ice? Now, I understand that reflections are pretty difficult to draw, but this is just too much. Tambry's reflection smiles when she doesn't. Her leggings vanish again with the open-close sign from the door, and Robbie's and Wendy's reflections aren't mirrored properly. This whole scene is just one big reflection mistake. The open sign on the store keeps switching to the closed side in different shots. Either the ghosts are messing with it, or someone was too lazy to be consistent. Another major goof is the chalked bodies. The chalked bodies were originally found near the end of the store. However, during the flashback, we find out that Ma and Pa passed out near the front window of the store due to a heart attack.
We were stricken down with double heart attacks.
The animators just teleported their bodies all across the store? I mean, come on. Okay, so let's make things a little fun by playing a game of Spot the Difference. See the chalked out bodies and the actual bodies here? I need you to spot the difference. Yep, that's right. In the chalk outline, Ma's arms are sprawled out, but in the flashback scene, her arms are on her chest. And check this out.
Oh, who wants a lammy, lammy, lammy? I do. So go up and greet your mammy, mammy, mammy. Hi there.
Whoa, Dipper. Didn't know you had them moves. But in the shot after Dipper does the lamby-lamby dance to save his friends, Ma's name tag is missing. I think they spent all of the animation budget on Dipper's dance. Ma and Pa are not the only ghosts in this episode. I think there's a ghost inside the guitar as well. In the scene where the boys are booing Dipper, Robbie's guitar is on the side of the counter. In the next scene, the guitar magically moves to the front of the counter. How does that work? Ghost or goof? Let us know in the comments. Also, amidst all the ghostly chaos, the animators forgot to change the color of Dipper's nose. And they did this again with Robbie. And finally, notice how the placement of mud on Wendy's boots changes while she's telling the story of how Dipper saved everyone.
Just grabbed a bat and started beating ghosts down left and right. And then the ghost got all scared and ran away like a couple of little girls. It was insane.
No way.
That was a sweet story, Wendy. But what is going on with your shoes? In one shot, the mud is on the bottom part of the boots, and the next shot shows mud on the top part. Moving on to Dipper vs. manliness. Sometimes infinite food is all you want in life. Like, what more can you ask from life than to give you infinite pancakes? In this episode, Sheriff Blubs is nearly done with his pancakes. But in a later shot, more appear out of nowhere.
Go, 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 go!
Infinite pancake glitch activated. Now watch this.
Pancakes are on me. I'm gonna win some by beating that manliness tester.
Manliness tester.
Beating.
Haha, nice joke, Dipper. Oh, I just caught another spelling mistake. The manliness tester sign spells manliness as manlies. Truly the ultimate test of being a man. Spelling. Honestly, we should send the Gravity Falls animators to elementary school, seeing how they can't even handle basic spelling or coloring. And when I say that they can't handle coloring, I mean it. Because in this episode, Sue's shirt turns pink for a second after Wendy says Stan is unfixable.
Mabel, your uncle's unfixable. Like that spinning pie trolley thing in the diner.
Uncle Stan, come with me.
Maybe his shirt blushed for him. I mean, how can you make this mistake when all he wears is one single shirt throughout the entire series? And these wardrobe slip-ups don't seem to end. For example, in the episode Double Dipper, Stan's bow tie just straight up disappears for one shot, while showing Seuss the pin the tail on the donkey game. Is the bow tie sentient? Is the tie a fugitive in hiding? These are the real mysteries of Gravity Falls. It came out of hiding in the next shot, though. Also, we see Dipper making multiple clones of himself in this episode. And when Dipper clones his arm, he clones just his bare arm, as you can see here. But when it comes out, it suddenly has a sleeve on it, meaning either the copier auto-tailors clothing now, or the animators still haven't learned to keep track of everything. That cloned arm has a lot more inconsistencies than I expected. Dipper's disembodied clone arm starts with the correct faded clone coloring. But when he dissolves it, the sleeve suddenly changes to Dipper's normal non-faded shade. See the difference here? The real mystery though? Why Dipper isn't questioning the ethics of casually dissolving his own clothes. When Mabel sprays silly string at Dipper, it comes out of the side of the can instead of the nozzle. Either the can is defective or Mabel is breaking the laws of physics just for fun. Now watch this.
I promise.
Did you guys notice that when Dipper says, "I promise," his mouth doesn't match the word "I"? Watch the clip again.
I promise.
Did you get it now? Either the animation team was in a rush or Dipper's actually speaking in a different timeline. When Dipper grabs his deodorant off a box, there's only one other can. In the next shot, there are suddenly two. Either these cans are multiplying or Dipper's so nervous about Wendy that he needs backups. Also, notice when Dipper drops his deodorant can in the next shot, it magically transforms into a silly string can.
What?
Also, there's this one kid near the front of the ticket stand line who is missing his arms entirely. It could be that the kid is exceptionally good at hiding his arms. Or maybe this is just a horrifying animation mistake. Also, we get to see Mabel in action in this episode. However, the chairs don't seem to like Mabel's dance, because when Mabel is seen dancing, there's a chair next to Candy. But when Mabel sits down, that chair is gone. Also, in just one shot, Mabel has 2 right eyebrows. Maybe the animators used 2 eyebrows to make her face extra expressive. Or maybe they're just too lazy to fix a mistake. Anyways, we should move on. Now watch this. Okay, so if you look closely for a single frame, part of Paper Jam Dipper's shoe disappears. Honestly, considering how messed up he already is, this just feels like adding insult to injury. Now, we also have a little bit of space warp situation here. Pacifica is supposed to be dancing on the dance floor while Wendy is walking for the bathroom, right? However, just moments later, she emerges from the bathroom.
Wait here?
Of course.
This means she either moves at warp speed or she's got a body double covering for her just like Dipper. Also, when Pacifica exits the bathroom, her colors are faded. Either she got a really bad case of food poisoning or the animators just got lazy. While reminding Dipper of the plan, the writing on clone number 5's plan disappears for a frame. I can't just seem to figure out whether the notes gave up or the animators gave up mid-sequence. Now, I think the editors at Gravity Falls have no research skills, because in this episode, Dipper sets off the sprinklers using smoke from a party popper.
Stay back! Stay back! Yeah.
There's a small problem here though. Sprinklers don't work that way. They react to heat, not smoke. Either the animators didn't do their research or Gravity Falls just has the world's most hypersensitive fire system. Okay, so it's obvious that Dipper and Tyrone were so in sync, but check this out.
We blew it, man.
Now, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but Tyrone's hand appears a frame too early, causing it to be detached from his body. I think a detached limb is a sign to wrap up this episode and move on to the next. However, it's not like the next episode is any less goofless, if that's a word. First up, we have the nacho earrings. Where did that concept come from? I have no idea. But even the nacho earrings can't seem to make up their mind about whether they exist or not. In one shot, they're proudly dangling from her ears.
Haha, nacho earrings. I'm hilarious.
And in the next shot, they have mysteriously vanished. Either Mabel has some next level quick change skills or the animators just forgot that nacho-shaped earrings don't disappear into the void between frames. Also, Toby Determined might not be the most perceptive journalist, but even he would probably notice that Stan's glasses don't seem to be staying consistent in this scene.
1863!
I will break you, little man!
Poor Toby. Anyway, at one point, when Stan threatens Toby, the line that separates his eyes just vanishes. Maybe Stan's intimidating presence is so strong that even his own eyewear refuses to stand in his way. Now, how many of you guys remember Gomper? Well, Gomper, the local troublemaking goat, manages to break his horn on the wrong side. Normally, it's his left horn that's supposed to be chipped, like this one here. But at the wedding ceremony, the damage inexplicably shifts to his right. Either Gomper's has a twin that nobody knows about, or the animators just got their lefts and rights mixed up again. Now, we all know that Sheriff Blubbs takes his job seriously, but apparently his microphone doesn't, like in this scene.
Hear ye, hear ye. Ye old commencement ceremony is about to commence.
When he begins announcing the commencement ceremony, there's no microphone in front of him at all. Then in the very next shot, one magically appears, as if even the sound equipment was running late for the ceremony. Also, it appears that the Northwest family is rich enough to afford a fancy statue, but not rich enough to make sure it stays put. Why do I say that? This is why. When they pose for a family picture, the Nathaniel Northwest statue is facing left, but just a few shots earlier, it was facing right. Just another case of the animators being too lazy to use correct orientation. Speaking about orientation, not just the statue, but the nameplate on the statue also has a mind of its own. Dipper and Mabel take a moment to read from the journal in front of the statue in this scene.
I recently made a discovery. Nathaniel Northwest may not be the founder of Gravity Falls.
Now during this, the nameplate is perfectly aligned with its base, meaning the statue's face and nameplate are on the same side. But after they leave, The nameplate has shifted positions and now the statue is facing the wrong side again. Mabel's blush marks usually add to her expressive, chaotic personality. But when Dipper pulls a document from Journal 3, her signature pink cheek marks just disappear. Maybe she was so focused that she accidentally willed them out of existence. Or maybe someone in the animation department had one too many continuity errors to keep track of. Now, exiting a building shouldn't be this complicated. Yet, somehow, the doors of the museum refuse to follow the simple rule of inertia. That which is at rest stays at rest. When the officers enter the museum, the right-hand door is open. But when the officers leave later, suddenly it's the other door that's open instead.
Hey, wait!
Are the doors alive? Is this some secret paranormal activity, or did the animators just flip a coin and call it a day? Also, Quentin Tremblay is a man full of surprises. But one thing that shouldn't be surprising is whether or not his mouth is open. While trapped in the vault, he's clearly shown with his mouth shut. Yet in the next shot, it's suddenly open. The question is, how did he manage to move his mouth when he's been stuck inside the block of peanut brittle for hundreds of years? We are not even close to covering all goofs and mistakes, so make sure to stick till the end. For now, check this out.
Is that my third wife? Sandy?
The crate that Dipper, Mabel, and Tremblay are trapped in comes with a roof, right? I mean, you can see the roof above their heads in this shot. However, when a woodpecker dramatically pecks them to freedom, the roof of the crate suddenly vanishes without a trace. Either the bird was working overtime or the animators decided that roofs were just a little too convenient to animate. The train ride escape sequence brings yet another odd inconsistency. When Dipper, Mabel, and Tremblay are inside the train, the window at the back shows that they're in the rear car. This means that there shouldn't be any more cars behind them, right? But once they exit through the roof, surprise, there's another car behind them now. And finally, Dipper, in his rush to tell Pacifica about Quentin Tremblay, doesn't notice that his sister's headband has mysteriously vanished. 1 second it's there, keeping Mabel's wild hair in check, and the next it's gone without explanation. I think the animators were in a bigger hurry than Dipper. Nevertheless, this was it for the episode Irrational Treasure. Moving on to the next episode, titled The Time Traveler's Pig. The county fair in Gravity Falls might be filled with fun and games, but it's also filled with some very questionable animation choices. Watch this scene first.
That's right, Muffin Top, High Pants. Who wants a piece of me? Come back anytime, folks.
Now, take for example the unnamed hillbilly at the dunk tank. His defining feature is his half-missing finger. But when he winds up to throw the ball, his hand is shown completely intact. Looks like his finger grew back just in time to participate. And then we have Dipper. Dipper's conversation with Mabel about asking Wendy to the fair is already stressful for him. But his corndog situation just adds to the chaos. He's clearly holding a question mark-shaped corndog while explaining his plan. But after the flashback to Wendy agreeing to go, the corndog is just gone. Either Dipper was so nervous that he subconsciously devoured it, or the animators warped it out of existence. Either way, that's a clear mistake. Now, we all agree on one thing. Waddles is the most adorable pig in town. But even he falls victim to animation hiccups. When he's dressed up as a tiny doctor, there's a single frame where his nose matches the color of his face instead of standing out in its usual pink shade. It's a small mistake, but considering how expressive Waddles is, it's hard not to notice. Now, all this time I thought that Benjamin Blandon's whole thing was time travel. But apparently, he's also capable of making his watch switch wrists. When he declares that his position is compromised, his watch is clearly on his left hand. Then, just moments later, it's on his right hand instead. Either Blandon is flexing some secret time travel tricks, or the animators lost track of what side it was supposed to be on. Dipper's blue pine tree hat is iconic, but it suddenly shifts shades when he asks Mabel if Blandon's explanation makes any sense to her.
Is making any sense to you?
I think he's just crazy.
Instead of its usual color, it's noticeably darker for no apparent reason. And Mabel's flower hair accessory is another casualty of continuity. When Blandon walks toward the barrel ride, the flower in her hair just vanishes. It's like the animators collectively decided that Mabel had one too many accessories to keep track of. Speaking of things disappearing, Blendon's time machine belt pulls off a similar trick. It's missing when he first walks up to the barrel ride, only to reappear in the very next shot.
One, please.
Sorry, dude, but you're gonna have to take your belt off for the ride.
You'd think someone who relies on a time machine would be better at keeping track of it. But apparently, that's not how Blending does things. Also, Mabel is all about that braces life, but apparently they don't always want to be seen. For example, when she high-fives Dipper in the Mystery Shack, her braces and dimple marks are nowhere to be found. Either she's gotten really good at hiding them or someone forgot to add them in. What do you guys think? Never mind Mabel's braces, what is up with this booth? Because if I'm not wrong, the Ferris wheel ticket booth refuses to stay in one place. During Mabel's ride with Waddles, it's facing to the right, but in every other do-over, it's positioned toward the front. That is a totally different orientation as compared to the previous one. Time travel is already messy, but now the scenery's changing too. Also, Dipper's hat suffers another inconsistency with the infamous burn mark. After the fire from the first do-over leaves a mark on it, the burn stays there for most of the episode, except when it randomly disappears in this shot. One moment, it's gone while Dipper's doing calculations, and the next, it's back again. Even Mabel's caramel apple isn't safe from the mysterious activities of Gravity Falls. She drops it at one point, but later it just vanishes entirely.
Time curse? Your face is so fat!
Is it possible?
Okay, so we just saw Mabel throw her caramel apple to pick up Waddles, but in the very next shot, it has disappeared. Either someone picked it up or it got erased from existence. The animators went total mad animating this scene. Can you mark out the inconsistency here? Yep, look at Mabel's eyes. Why are they miles apart? Is that a new animation style? Is somebody gonna get fired at Gravity Falls Studio? I guess we will never know. Also, when the twins travel to opening day of the fishing season in The Legend of the Gobblewonker, the sign says fishing season, but in the actual episode it says fishing season opening day. I guess you can't go back to the exact moments, even in cartoons. Also, in the flashback of the events of Headhunters, Pizza Guy is wearing a green shirt, but in the actual episode, his shirt is red. Even kids can color better than the animators at Gravity Falls. Check out how they colored Robbie's teeth with skin color instead of white here. It looks like Robbie never grew any teeth. Let me know what you guys think of Robbie's new look. Anyways, now we're moving on to the 10th episode of the first season, Fight Fighters. And the first mistake I noticed was a finger miscount. And we will have a lot of these, so make sure to stick till the end for all of them. Now, Robbie's whole aesthetic is about looking cool and edgy, but apparently his fingers didn't get the memo. On his band poster, he's casually rocking 5 fingers, even though every other time we see him, he only has 4. Either Robbie has a secret shape-shifting ability or the animators momentarily forgot how many digits he's supposed to have. Also, Mabel's chaotic energy is usually expressed in every movement she makes. But when Stan complains that she doesn't even know what game they're playing, her mouth just shuts without actually animating.
King me!
Come on. It's not fair. She doesn't even know what we're playing.
Go fish?
No gradual closing, no transition, just a sudden, eerie snap to silence. That's a good party trick to have, though. The cracker situation in the card game is just as baffling as the rest of Gravity Falls, when Mabel wins the round. Nobody else has any crackers at all. But in the very next shot, Seuss and Dipper suddenly have a few, as if they'd been snacking the whole time. Either they had a stash they had been secretly handing out, or reality itself is bending to keep up with Mabel's enthusiasm. Dipper's confrontation with Robbie is already rough, but it turns into an outright reality warp when Robbie pushes him down.
Hey, I know a fight when I see one. Stay right there.
You, me, Circle Park, 3 o'clock. We finish this.
Whoa, Robbie, calm down. Where are the mistakes? When Robbie pushes Dipper and he falls down, we can see the trash can and Dipper's hat on the ground. However, as Robbie walks away, the trash cans and Dipper's hat mysteriously vanish from the scene. It's as if Gravity Falls just momentarily forgot that objects exist. Then, when Stan steps outside, both the hat and trash can have magically reappeared. Maybe the town itself is just as indecisive as its residents. Now, this little arcade machine has too many animation mistakes to be called production ready. One, the character selection screen in Fight Fighters is supposed to showcase all the available fighters, but instead it seems to have a mind of its own. When Dipper starts selecting his character, the map shows a dot for B store in Brazil, until he scrolls away and the dot just disappears without returning. For most of the scene, there are 8 characters on the screen, but only 7 locations, as if one fighter just didn't feel like showing up on the map. Mozambique of Mozambique has an especially confusing case of teleporting geography. At first, his geographic dot is way too far north, making it look like Mozambique is hanging out somewhere near the Sahara. But then, when Dipper actually selects him, the dot casually drifts southeast to the correct location, only to snap back to its incorrect position the moment Dipper moves on. Either the world map is glitching, or the Fighters developers really didn't fact-check their geography. Now, how do spells or cheat codes work? You say them exactly as they are, right? But then, what is this?
To unleash ultimate power? I do like things that are ultimate. Back, back, hold, forward, back, forward, down, hold, quarter circle, forward, triple punch!
Dipper, following instructions to unleash ultimate power, recites the button combo out loud, but the words coming out of his mouth don't match what's actually written on the screen. Either he's making up his own version of the move, or the game manual is just as unreliable as everything else in Gravity Falls. As a result of this code, Rumble comes out of the game and enters the human world. But right before Rumble comes to life, the Fighters game abruptly shuts off. But in that moment, something strange happens to Dipper's hat. Instead of its usual blue and white color scheme, it turns into a solid, unshaded blue. Did you guys know that Stan is afraid of heights? No? Check this out.
Fear of heights. We now return to world's most terrifying skydiving! Turn it off!
Stan's reaction to the skydiving show is legendary. But if you look closely, something weird happens to his face. For one frame, his mouth animation appears in 2 places at the same time, as if his sheer enthusiasm caused his entire jaw to glitch out of reality. Stan's struggle with heights is one thing, but the dinosaur skull in the Mystery Shack doesn't make much sense either. He trips over it and falls backward onto the floor. But wait, isn't the skull usually way too close to the wall for there to be any floor space behind it? For example, this is the usual layout. Now notice the difference in this episode. Yep, both the skull and the couch are at a significant distance from the wall. Is this another goof or an intentional attempt just for the sake of the story? Dipper and Rumble's walk through the town seems simple enough at first, but the background clearly has other ideas. First, they pass a barbershop and a beef and poultry shop. Then, when Rumble picks up a pipe, they're suddenly right back in front of the barbershop, and in the very next shot, they're passing completely different buildings. Either Rumble's presence is distorting reality, or Gravity Falls is just really bad at keeping its geography straight. You guys can let us know your thoughts in the comments. Moving on to the episode Little Dipper that starts with Stan's secret stash of money.
Which one of these is the trap door?
Honestly, I didn't expect Stan to have that much money, and that too in cash. And Stan has his usual over-the-top reaction to what he thinks is a tax collector coming for him. But while he's busy running back into the living room in a panic, something weird happens. Dipper's hat outline at the top turns blue instead of its usual black. Maybe even his hat is stressed out by Stan's financial situation. Board games between siblings are the epitome of sibling rivalry. And when it comes to chess, well, you know how competitive everyone gets. The same is the case with this twin. I mean, the chess match is chaotic enough without throwing basic chess rules out the window. Mabel moves a black pawn at first, and Dipper immediately calls her out, saying that's not her color.
It's a black space 9.
It's a pawn, that's not your color.
Fair enough, but where did that pawn go? It's not here? Did Mabel steal him as well? And when Dipper takes his turn, he knocks out the black king using a white pawn.
And checkmate.
Either they're playing some bizarre version of chess, or Dipper just decided that the rules don't apply to him. And it's not just Dipper changing colors as he likes. The chess pieces are changing colors too. Initially, the queen and rook on Mabel's side are black, but after checkmate, they turn white. That's a lot of mistakes. A lot. Like, how can you fit that many goofs in just a 10-second chess match? Now, when Stan knocks the jar of termites out of Gideon's hands, it lands right on the porch.
That!
Huh?
That should be the end of it, but no. When Gideon storms off in defeat, the jar somehow teleports into the doorway, as if it changed its mind about where it wanted to land. Maybe those termites have some reality warping powers we don't know about. Also, Dipper's nose is usually a reddish pink hue. But in this episode, when he's reading Journal 3 and finds the page about the height-altering crystals, it suddenly shifts to a normal skin color.
Legends of miniature buffalo and giant squirrels have led me to believe.
So is that an allergic reaction to excitement or what? Or is it just another goof? Also, when Dipper is in the attic getting ready to test the flashlight on a chess piece, there's a pair of knitting needles next to the chessboard. But in the first shot of the scene, those knitting needles are nowhere to be found. The weather vane on the Mystery Shack has always been weird. But when Dipper enlarges the chess pawn and it crashes through the roof, things get extra strange. For once, Gravity Falls editors have used the correct symbols for directions, even though in the entire series the cardinal symbols are W, H, A, and T, spelling out what. And even when they decide to use the correct symbols, they couldn't resist messing up the directions, because the cardinal directions are, well, wrong. Either North is pointing south or West has decided to take a vacation to the east. Also, the flashlight duel between Dipper and Mabel is full of rapid back and forth action, but something is off. Their beams keep switching functions without them flipping the crystal.
Hey, give it back!
Okay, so at first, Mabel's uses the beam to make Dipper's face large. The next second, it's different. And the same goes for Dipper. The editors remembered to change the beam color but forgot to show Dipper and Mabel actually changing the crystals. Or maybe that was just out of budget? Now imagine getting trapped in a large bag of gummies. Mabel's already in a ridiculous situation when she ends up inside a giant bag of gummy koalas. But for one shot, her wardrobe's more ridiculous. Like her headband going missing. It was there in the previous shot, but now? Looks like the animators forgot to draw it. But when the animators don't miss anything out, they tend to draw them completely wrong. Like this scene where Stan's reflection doesn't follow the rules of reality either. When he stands in front of the mirror, his tie isn't reflected properly. Notice how the left tie strip is longer than the right? It's the same in the mirror, when the right one should be longer than the left one in the mirror. I guess even the mirrors in Mystery Shack are sketchy. And speaking of wrong reflections, check this out. Seuss' reflection has its own weird problem. At first, his hat is brown, but in the mirror, the hat turns out to be gray.
We're gonna make a fortune.
And then his brown hair turns gray as well when seen in the mirror. Either he's secretly aging at an alarming rate, or that mirror is actually colorblind. Now check this. I mean, Gideon's ID card is already funny enough. But if you look closely, his picture shows him with only 4 fingers per hand. It's a classic case of the town's questionable logic. Why bother making a photo ID accurate when you can just get close enough? As Dipper and Mabel make their daring escape across Gideon's neck, Mabel's headband disappears again. It seems like her headband just has a habit of vanishing whenever she's in the middle of something intense. Finally, during the ultimate tickle attack on Gideon, Dipper's signature pine tree emblem is mysteriously missing from his hat. Maybe the sheer force of their battle knocked it off. Or maybe, like so many other objects in Gravity Falls, it just decided to take a break from existing for a few frames. Now, headbands going missing or even symbols going missing are acceptable. But ears? How can your ears just vanish completely? Because that is exactly what happens in the next episode, Summerween. When Seuss is busy pressing the creepy, cackling skulls at the Summerween Superstore, something strange happens. His ears are just gone. And after the trip to the store, Dipper and Mabel sit on the floor surrounded by crafting supplies. We have scissors, a pencil, glue, everything essential for a DIY disaster. But the moment Seuss warns them to be careful, those items just disappear into thin air. Then, as if they change their minds, they suddenly pop back into existence when Seuss starts telling the story of the Summerween trickster. Maybe the items were scared of the legend and decided to momentarily ghost out. And as Seuss is going on and on about the Summerween trickster story, Dipper pops a piece of candy into his mouth and immediately starts choking.
Well, you don't have to worry about us. We've got spirit to go around. Ugh, what is this stuff?
But mid-struggle, the back of his hat does something weird. It stops being blue and instead blends into the background wall. Now, did Dipper's hat try to camouflage itself from secondhand embarrassment, or did the animators forget to color it in? That's for you guys to decide. Dipper's night takes another hit when he spots Wendy hanging out with Robbie. Shocked, he drops the bowl of candy he's holding. That should be the end of it, except the very next shot, the bowl is miraculously back in his hands, and the floor is suspiciously candy-free.
Happy summer
Sup, Squirt?
Hey, Dipper.
Wendy! Ow. What's up, guys?
I mean, the name is Gravity Falls, so it's totally possible that gravity works differently here. Or it could be that Dipper has some supernatural reflexes we don't know about. Now watch this.
What about your brother?
Oh man, guys, just wait until you see Dipper's costume. It's amazing! Here he comes now.
That is a very good Dipper costume.
Nothing wrong, right? That's because you weren't paying attention to Candy. As Dipper comes downstairs, Candy's mouth just vanishes for a second. First ears went missing and now mouths too? Where is all this leading to? Also, here is a small shot.
For glory, my children!
This shot of the trick-or-treaters before the twins leave is a mess of continuity errors. Gorney, Candy, and Grenda are all shown out trick-or-treating, even though Gorney was eaten earlier and Candy and Grenda are supposed to be at the shack. Waddles also somehow ends up with a random kid, even though he should still be back at home. Either this is a glimpse into an alternate timeline, or Halloween night in Gravity Falls is way more chaotic than we thought. When Seuss crashes his truck into the Summerween Superstore, Dipper is clearly wearing his hat. But considering that he wasn't wearing any in the previous shot, it shouldn't be there. Either he's carrying a backup hat for emergencies, or this episode just decided to bend reality again. Even in the end credits, things don't quite line up. One of the final images shows Waddles with his signature light brownish tan spot on the wrong eye. It's on the right instead of the left. Maybe this is its secret twin, but I'm pretty sure that it's just the animators making continuity errors out of laziness. And finally, there's the scrapbook. In the first shot after the theme song, the twins' Halloween scrapbook is clearly labeled Track or Treating Memories. But in every other shot, it magically corrects itself to say Trick or Treating Memories. Was that just another spelling error? Or the book itself didn't want to be embarrassed on camera? Never mind the embarrassment, I'm still not convinced by how things randomly go missing in Gravity Falls. Like this scene in our next episode, Boss Mabel.
More about business than I do? You think you could wear this hat?
Yeah, because I give people respect and glittery stickers.
Now, did you guys notice that during Mabel and Stan's intense bet over who could run the shack better, part of Stan's bow tie is missing an outline in one shot? Talk about incomplete character design. When Mabel first storms into the gift shop with Seuss, Dipper, and Wendy, the tip jar already has a red line on it. And in the very next shot, it's gone. Why did it vanish? Well, because according to the script, Mabel draws the same red line herself, proudly announcing that they'll be filling it with $600 billion.
It's time to prove that nice bosses finish first. In the next 48 hours, we're gonna fill up this jar with $600 billion! Yeah!
Wait.
Whoa, man, this is the first time I'm seeing a time-traveling marker line. The Gravity Falls animators messed up big and thought we wouldn't notice. But how can't we, huh? Also, remember the logic that my left is your right and vice versa? I guess the people at Gravity Falls lost their common sense when producing this scene.
Believe this is yours?
Questiony the question mark? I wish this was an exclamation point to show how excited I am.
The questiony the question mark costume that Mabel holds is another shape-shifting mystery. In the initial shot, it's pointed towards Mabel's right. However, when the camera angle flips, it changes direction and is now pointed towards Seuss's right. It should be pointed in the same direction, right? I mean, the camera angle was flipped, not the costume. But no, it just breaks the laws of physics. Tambry's hair highlights also seem to have a mind of their own. One moment they're on one side of her head, next they switch sides like they're trying to stay unpredictable. I think the Gravity Falls animators should attend a crash course on directions. What do you guys say? Also, check this out.
Jobs, well, you bums have been bleeding me dry! No butts except yours on the floor cleaning! Now quit loafing and get to work!
Yes, Mabel.
That's yes, boss!
Yep, you saw that exactly right. When Mabel starts laying down the law and yelling at Seuss and Wendy for slacking off, Wendy's legs get cut off mid-shot. Calm down, Wendy. A little anger from Boss Mabel and you decide to slowly erase your existence? That's not how this works. And you are not the boss until you look like the boss, right? And that is exactly why Mabel does this.
Boss! Dipper, what have I become?
What you had to, Mabel. What you had to.
But wait, this scene comes with a classic Gravity Falls hiccup. When she tries on Stan's fez, the symbol should be reversed in the reflection, but it's not. Maybe the mirror is just as stubborn as Stan himself. Or maybe the animators just slack off when it comes to mirrors and reflections, because this is like the 100th time this has happened. Now let's talk about Dipper's birthmark, one of his most defining traits. Because the moment he slicks his hair back for the tour, it completely disappears.
This shack is filled with wonders never before seen by human eyes. Behold!
Maybe I should tell Harry Potter that doing a slick back hair can make his birthmark disappear as well. Or does this apply to cartoons only? And finally, just before the scene where Stan returns, Dipper's hair can't seem to decide what it wants to do. It keeps switching between neat and messy. Check this out. Neat, messy, and neat again. It's as if it's having an internal crisis over whether it wants to be businesslike or back to its usual chaotic self. Moving on, let's take a look at all the silly mistakes and goofs in the episode title, Bottomless Pit. First, the bouncer at the bar seems to have a belt that just can't make up its mind. When he's talking to his peers inside the bar, his belt sits higher on his waist, but in the previous shots it was lower. It's difficult to determine if his fashion sense is just unstable or if his belt is experiencing its own gravity-defying adventure. Meanwhile, Sheriff Blubbs delivers the bad news to Stan.
Turns out there is no doctor medicine in Gravity Falls.
You better have a darn good explanation for this.
Oh, and I do. You see, I lied to you.
But something even weirder happens at this moment. The nasty burn mark on Stan's back, which he replaced with a tattoo, is suddenly replaced by back hair. Just when it seems like the burn is gone for good, it reappears in the next scene, as if it never left. Honestly, how hard is it to keep track of a tattoo that these guys are replacing with hair? These Stan mistakes are clearly the silliest, and the animators always forget to keep track of things around him. Just now, it was his tattoo, and in the next episode, the deep end, it's a chair.
There she is, Zeus. Equidistant from the snack bar in the bathroom. Just the right amount of sun and shade, and pointed away from where old man McGucket lotions himself. The perfect lawn chair.
But not just a regular chair. Now, as Stan explains how this lawn chair is the spitome of perfection, another chair is clearly visible behind Zeus. But a few shots later, it mysteriously vanished. I guess there can't be two perfect chairs. Now, Mermando's guitar skills are impressive, but his hands tell a different story. When he first plays, he strums as a lefty.
Mermando.
But later that night, he switches to playing right-handed with no explanation. If he were ambidextrous, he'd have to completely restring the guitar, which he definitely doesn't do. Either Mermando is an expert at confusing his audience, or gravity isn't the only thing that works differently underwater. Then there's Mr. Poolcheck, who is furious over someone breaking into the maintenance shed and breaking the pool skimmer.
Yeah, broke into the supply closet last night and destroyed our one and only pool skimmer.
The problem? Mabel never actually breaks in. Instead, she just reaches over the fence and grabs the pool skimmer. So the script is kind of off. Also, if there's only one pool skimmer and it was in the supply closet, then what is this one doing here? And even this was not here when Mabel runs towards the fence. And when she reaches out for it, it just appears out of nowhere. And then Dipper's attempt at reverse CPR for Mermando raises another mystery. Either Dipper has discovered the world's first self-replenishing water supply, or the animators forgot how storage is supposed to work. He keeps drinking water from a bottle to spit into Mermando's mouth, but every time he takes a sip, the bottle magically refills itself.
I hate this! I hate this!
And finally, in an odd bit of real-world logic sneaking into the show, Waddles is seen happily licking chocolate ice cream off Grunkle Stan's face.
You called my bluff, pig.
But in reality, chocolate is toxic to pigs. Maybe Waddles has an iron stomach, or maybe he just lives by his own rules. Either way, I don't think that the guys over at the Gravity Falls studio thought this through. What do you guys think? Now, just like all of the other episodes, Carpet DM is full of shape-shifting and color-changing objects, and even those that vanish into thin air. In the first slumber party scene, before Grenda picks up the pillow, it is clearly pink. But in the next scene, when she picks it up, the pillow turns green. Apparently, even pillows like to switch things up in Gravity Falls. It seems like everything Grenda touches is changing color, because later in the episode when Grenda excitedly asks this,
Who wants to smear makeup on my face?
her nightshirt is light pink, which is definitely not what she was wearing earlier. But in the very next shot, when Mabel consoles her with this,
Oh, you're already so beautiful, Grenda.
now the shirt color has returned to magenta. Now, you guys tell me whether Grenda owns a color-changing wardrobe or the animators weren't paying attention. Dipper, meanwhile, experiences his own teleportation mystery. When he first lies down outside, his pillow is clearly about a meter away from the totem pole. But in the next shot, without moving, he's suddenly leaning against the totem pole. Maybe the wolf frightened him so much that he started teleporting out of shock. And later in the episode, Mabel's love for weird food takes center stage when she offers Dipper a slice of glitter-covered pizza.
Hey, brother, you want any of this leftover pizza? It's got glitter on it.
Okay, first, where did that pizza come from? Because there was nothing on the floor in the previous shot. Weird, right? But isn't it weirder to have glitter on the pizza, Mabel? And also, if the editors wanted to make a glitter-topping pizza, why can't they stick to it, huh? Because, like always, in the next shot, the glitter is gone. Whoa, that's some mysterious glitter is what you guys must be thinking. But you guys are wrong. Why? Because the entire pizza is weird. First, the glitter on the pizza goes missing, and then in the following shot, the entire pizza disappears. So much wrong with one slice of pizza, this definitely is Gravity Falls. Also, Gravity Falls has always been bad with directions, and this episode is no exception. Because the Electron carpet's directional arrows also can't seem to make up their minds. The carpet makes its first appearance in this scene. As you can see, the arrows are in a clockwise direction, but later in the episode they randomly switch to a counterclockwise orientation, as if the carpet itself is as unstable as the body-swapping chaos it causes. Speaking of inconsistencies, a framed calendar in the background is seen with no image in a shot. And in the very next shot, it suddenly has a picture of an owl on it. Now, Gravity Falls and mirrors? Nope, they have no chemistry between them. And mirrors continue to be an issue in this episode as well. During a scene where all the twins are discussing the body swap, they aren't reflected in the mirror at all. How can a mirror show no reflections? It's as if the Electron carpet didn't just swap their bodies, it also temporarily erased them from existence. Then there's the cereal box Dipper dumps over himself while he's inside Mabel's body. It wasn't there at first, but as soon as he reaches for it, it suddenly appears in frame.
Mabel's gone bananas. Bing! Zow! Palau!
Wait a minute, was that telekinesis? Did the carpet give them superpowers as well? Nah, that's just another silly mistake the animators made. Old Man McGucket and Seuss, who is trapped in Waddle's body, have their own bizarre moments. When McGucket starts chasing Seuss through the Mystery Shack, the puddle of mud where Seuss had been happily playing earlier just disappears. Check this out.
No, don't eat me. I'm a man trapped in a pig's body.
That's what they all say.
Now there should have been a puddle right here. But apparently even the ground is tired of dealing with body-swapping madness. And honestly, by this point, a disappearing puddle is the least of our concerns. Stan, too, experiences some strange animation quirks when he angrily says this.
What did you say to me?
If you pay attention, you can notice that his mouth vanishes for a split second, making him look eerily expressionless. Later, when Waddles is eating tissues, a tissue on the table disappears the moment Stan walks into the room.
Oh good, Zeus!
Now see this tissue here? It straight up vanishes in the next shot. Maybe Stan's presence alone has the power to erase small objects from existence. And finally, remember the Eiffel Tower model that Candy accidentally broke at the beginning of the episode? Check this. Okay, so it fell down and broke. Check this out. Then how is it that the same model is seen completely intact in the final scenes? It's one of two things. Either Candy put it back together perfectly in record time, or the Mystery Shack just resets itself when no one's looking. Which one is it? Do let us know in the comments. Now, remember this band poster that we discussed earlier in the video, where Robbie suddenly got 5 fingers instead of the usual 4? Well, the animators made the same mistake again in our next episode, Boys Crazy. In the episode, Robbie apparently takes a brief detour from the usual character design when he opens his CD case. And suddenly, he has 5 fingers on each hand, despite consistently having only 4 in every other scene.
Whoa, hey. Before you do anything crazy, I want you to hear this.
It could be that Robbie has an allergic reaction to 2000s emo music, because whenever his band or music is mentioned, he suddenly grows an extra finger. But I don't think that's a symptom of allergic reactions. What do you guys think? Later, just before Robbie leaves the shop, we can see a radio placed on the stool. But in the next shot, guess what? Yep, it's gone along with the stool. But don't worry, because a second later, they're both back in the scene, like nothing happened. Wendy also gets caught in a blink and you'll miss it moment. As she exits the gift shop with Robbie, she is clearly seen zipping up her coat.
I can't believe you wrote that for me.
I know. I'm just so insanely talented.
But then it's inexplicably unzipped in the very next shot. Either she's a speed unzipper or the animation just didn't keep up with her wardrobe choices. While Dipper's investigating Robbie's CD in the gift shop, Mabel, Candy, and Grenda walk in.
What are you doing?
Guys, the weirdest thing just happened. I think Robbie might be hypnotizing Wendy with his music.
Oh, Dipper. Girls just like musicians.
But wait, it looks like something's off with Grenda. At first, she isn't wearing any lipstick. Then, suddenly, she is. Unless Grenda applied it in the blink of an eye just for drama. It's a continuity flub. Is it just me, or are these wardrobe goofs just increasing in number? Next up, on their mission to sneak into the dressing room, the girls pass a crate that's clearly missing one of its sides. And it looks like they hired a toddler to fill it up. Because, what is that? That's too cartoonish, even for cartoons. Inside the boy band cage, Candy briefly loses part of her outfit. She's wearing no skirt in one shot. And once you spot it, you can't unsee it. Because this is what she usually looks like. And that looks like she's wearing her skirt as a skirt as well. Meanwhile, Dipper's attempt to expose Robbie's mind control music comes with a technical inconsistency. He starts playing the record backward at a speed of around 6.5 at first. But after a few shots, the speed dial is set to 45. See this?
Think about you. I feel
So deep.
Okay, so it starts with 6.5. Then in this shot, it is set to 45.
My control, your mind is mine.
Even the record players in Gravity Falls are unhinged. Now, has it ever happened to you that you are sincerely apologizing for someone and your mouth just disappears? No? Of course not. That only happens in Gravity Falls, like this scene.
A catchy song made me realize that you were right. Can you ever forgive me?
Of course!
Friendship.
During Mabel's apology scene, she's all emotion, except for the part where her mouth completely disappears in one frame. Not exactly the best way to deliver a heartfelt speech, huh? Also, did you guys notice something when she says, "friendship repaired" after the speech?
Friendship repaired.
Yep, she didn't move her mouth and still spoke. Did someone forget to tell me that Mabel's a ventriloquist, or is it just another mistake? In the kitchen, when Stan pulls up a chair for Dipper while he's stocking meat, the chair materializes out of thin air. I mean, take a look at this. Is there any chair here? Nope. Then where did it come from in this scene?
Oh no, you wouldn't understand.
Ah, come on, kid. Try me.
Okay.
Looks like it was patiently waiting in its queue. And in a detail that messes with the timeline, Ergman Bratzmann's license plate reads 2013, even though the series is set during the summer of 2012. So around $500,000 of animation budget to make one episode, and you can't use the right year? Moving on, we have the starting sequence of the episode Land Before Swine.
Focus, deputy. Remember your training. Easy, easy. You're almost there.
Dang it.
Did you guys catch the inconsistency here? No? No worries. That's what we're here for. Okay, so while Deputy Durland is casually solving a maze, one of the shark's teeth is designed like it's made out of the writing part of a lead pencil. Check this out. But in the next shot, it's magically white again. Maybe the shark got dental work between frames. Starting the episode with a mistake? Classy Gravity Falls. Did they think we wouldn't notice, or are these, like, genuine mistakes? Do let us know in the comments. Also, when Stan gives his iconic tour of the Mystery Shack to a group of unimpressed kids, they're totally empty-handed, until they're disappointed by the glorious corn-a-corn. Suddenly, they're each armed with gift boxes to throw dramatically in protest.
The corn! I don't know. I'm tired. What the?
What a rip-off. Kids, we're leaving.
No!
Either those kids carry emergency tantrum props, or someone in the animation department spawned boxes out of nowhere. And no Gravity Falls episode is incomplete without some action with the gang. And in this episode, the gang flees from a rampaging pterodactyl. And during the chase, there's a blink and you'll miss it frame where Stan somehow grows a second mouth. Yup, a second mouth. Didn't catch the extra mouth? Check this out. Either the fear brought out some hidden superpower, or reality glitched harder than usual in Gravity Falls. Later, during a poker game, Stan folds his hand and claims he had 4 aces.
Snorting! That's his tell. I fold.
Tough luck, sucker. Waddles was bluffing.
What? I had 4 aces!
Did you guys notice anything strange? It's a bold move, except one of the cards we see on the table is the Ace of Hearts. Wait, if one of the aces is on the table, then how can Stan claim that he had all of the aces? Unless the deck was made by con artists, Stan either lied or he's using a 5th ace to cheat like a champ. But who could be a bigger con artist than Stan? Why don't we give him the benefit of the doubt and close the case right there? Now, what excuse would you make if you wanted to bail on your date? Something specific? Well, anything you're thinking of is wrong. Because according to Stan in the episode Dreamscapers, this is what you should do.
It's going terrible. I can't think of anything to say, and she looks weird up close. Think of a way out? Non-specific excuse!
That's fine, but when Stan says non-specific excuse during his date with Lazy Susan, one of Susan's pupils literally vanishes for a frame. I mean, sure, Stan is a bad date, but the guy isn't that bad. That's just extra strange. Now, in the clip you just saw, Stan slides his food down from the table, right? Now his food is on the ground and Lady Susan's food is still on the table. But when Mabel slams the door shut on the memory of that awkward dinner, the table is suddenly cleared.
Yeesh.
But given how strange this couple is, vanishing food should be the least of our concerns. When the memory of Stan's safe combination falls into the bottomless pit, Stan isn't holding a cane.
44. No, wait, no!
None more bottomless than the bottomless pit, which as you can see here is bottomless.
But when the camera angle changes and Stan is shown looking into the pit, he suddenly has a cane in his hand.
Whoa! Whatever that was, it's gone forever.
That cane is strange, but still nothing when compared to Stan. Now, during the nightmare montage, Bill changes the shape and color of Mabel's skin to green, right?
My cuteness!
Okay, so her skin should be green now. But we all know that Gravity Falls can't stay consistent. So after Bill blasts away Zyler and Kraz, Mabel's skin flashes to her usual skin color, and then right back to green. I think even Bill's powers can't escape these Gravity Falls goofs. And finally, another mistake where things just decide to get up and leave, all on their own. When the twins and Seuss first enter Stan's mind, it's surrounded by candles and he's wearing his fez. But when they leave, the candles are gone. The fez? Gone. Check this out.
We did it!
What? Did what? What are you all doing here?
Either dream logic is at play or someone hit the clear stage button by accident. Now we have the last episode of Gravity Falls Season 1, Gideon Rises. In Gideon Rises, Gideon makes a flashy entrance by jumping through a paper-covered hoop. The problem? He's wearing the Mystic Amulet, which was destroyed earlier in The Hand That Rocks the Mabel. In the next shot, he's back to wearing his normal necktie. So unless he superglued it back together off screen, that's a classic animation slip. Now there is something genuinely wrong with Gideon's necktie, before it suddenly turned into the amulet that doesn't exist anymore, and now this.
My new plans for the former Mystery Shack. I give you Gideon Land!
Did you guys notice what's wrong here? Yep, when Gideon shows off his Gideon Land model, his white necktie suddenly turns green. Also, we all remember this iconic bouncer, right? Why do I call him iconic? Well, because his entire body is covered in tattoos. If that's not the definition of badass, then I don't know what is. However, in this scene, when he grabs Mabel, the tattoos on his arms and hands are not there. The animators just stole his coolness from him. Now watch this.
The most beautiful girl we've ever seen! I am not a girl! Really? But your skin is so soft. You moisturize her. Subdue them!
Honestly, I didn't expect the gnomes to like Gideon, and even Gideon is so shocked that his feet start to glitch. When Gideon yells for the gnomes to subdue them, his right foot is clearly duplicated. Yep, just casually bifurcated like a cursed action figure. Gravity Falls, where even your feet aren't safe from weirdness. Also, something feels off when Old Man McGucket is working on the Gideon bot. Oh yes, it's his arm cast. It's gone in this sequence. If you guys remember, he has a cast on his arms at all times. So where did it go in this scene? Did he miraculously heal himself? Well, I don't believe in all that, so for me that's clearly a mistake. And just before this, when Gideon asks McGucket if the Gideon bot is ready, he has both journals, 2 and 3, in his possession.
You there! Is it ready?
Only one way to find out.
But when he actually enters the bot, the books are nowhere to be seen. And later in the episode, when Dipper defeats Gideon, he finds Journal 3 in the rubble.
Mabel, that was amazing!
Not as amazing as you defeating that robot.
Hey, my journal!
Okay, so first, both of the journals went missing, and now one of them has been discovered in the rubble. But then where's the other one? Here it is.
Just one more thing.
So Gideon still had Journal 2 in his coat. All of this is too confusing for me, but I'm pretty sure that these journals are teleporting by themselves. So after 20 episodes, Gideon is finally arrested, and thank God he has only 4 fingers on each hand in this scene.
No!
I mean, that is just the classic Gravity Falls styling, right? But this episode had been using the 5-finger style for Gideon the entire time. Now, remember how Dipper and Mabel were about to leave Gravity Falls? But of course, that can't happen, and they end up staying. So when Dipper is unpacking at the end of the episode, his suitcase appears to be lying on top of a crate in a way that completely breaks perspective. Then in the next shot, the suitcase is correctly placed on the floor, and the crate is gone. And when Mabel tells Dipper he doesn't need the journals, her suitcase is clearly sitting on her bed. But just one shot later, it disappears. Maybe she shoved it off in frustration, or it just disintegrated under the emotional weight of the scene. And finally, let's end the coverage of Mistakes in Gravity Falls Season 1 with the end credits, where we see the famous Trust No One page again. But this time it's on the right side of the journal. In Tourist Trapped, it was on the left. Either the journal has a flipping mechanism we don't know about, or someone on the art team mirrored the shot and hoped no one would notice. Too late. We noticed. And with that, we've covered all of the animation slip-ups, silly mistakes, and goofs in the first season of Gravity Falls. Now it's time for the second season. But wait, before we move on to the second season, why don't we quickly cover all of the goofs and mistakes in Gravity Falls shorts? Sounds good? Let's do it. First up, we have the Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained Shorts. And in the Candy Monster short, Dipper arms himself with golf clubs to take on the creepy creature. But how many golf clubs he actually has keeps changing, like he's juggling them off screen. He starts with 3 clubs, then in the next shot he's missing one, and a few shots later, he has 3 again. What is up with Gravity Falls mathematics? Next up, we have the Mailbox short, where Seuss looks a little off. Ah, it's his hair again. It's not the usual shade of rich brown we're used to, but instead a lighter tone, and it's noticeably longer. Maybe he grew out his hair to get them designed like this. But still, this doesn't explain the color change. Also, in the short titled Lefty, when Lefty turns, it suddenly looks like it only has 1 leg and 1 foot.
What?
But earlier shots clearly show him to have 2 of each.
I've never once seen the right side of his face.
I'm pretty sure someone forgot to finish sketching the other half before the scene went live. Anyways, another short, another goof. In Tooth, things get real weird real fast. As Dipper plays a sousaphone, he bends his knees and suddenly his hat starts misbehaving.
Hey, is that a giant tooth?
Okay, so we have a lot of mistakes in this short scene. 1, the button on top shifts position. 2, the pine tree logo shrinks down like it's shy. And to top it off, Dipper's right pupil slides into a weird position, giving him an awkward squinting expression. So that's what happens when you're under too much pressure. Anyways, it's time to move on to Mabel's Guide to Life, our next series of shorts. And first up, we have the dating one. In Mabel's Guide to Dating, Mabel kicks things off in a snazzy blue sweater, fully in her matchmaking element.
Mabel's Guide to Dating! As we all know, I'm a dating expert.
But when she's operating the oh-so-dreamy cardboard cutout of Zach, her sweater suddenly turns pink for a shot.
Mabel, I love you so much, baby. Why won't you let me into your life?
That's just a classic moment of, oops, wrong color palette. Fashion gets the spotlight next in Mabel's Guide to Fashion, and so does Candy's hair, but not in a good way. While she and Mabel are drawing on each other's faces, Candy's usual dark purple-gray hair turns pitch black.
Join us next week when Mabel tells us what next season has in store.
That's not a makeover, that's a complete hair identity crisis. And when Candy and Grenda make their grand entrance from the sides of the screen, Candy's socks are mysteriously MIA. We've had a little too many of these wardrobe slip-ups with Candy to be shocked by this, but still, a mistake is a mistake. And then we have Mabel's Guide to Color, which is full of vibrant chaos, but also a few weird slip-ups. When Grenda yanks out a jug of expired milk, Candy is in the middle of drawing a picture. Grenda finishes chugging that expired goodness before the drawing takes over the screen.
I'm gonna try right now!
What if we reflect the rainbow from the falls?
All good, right? I mean, nothing is out of the ordinary here, yet, because after it zooms out, she's still sipping the last gulp, again. Check this out.
Into Stan's window.
Yeah!
Is that milk supposed to be in a time loop, or is someone getting fired again? As Dipper and Candy set up a mirror during their color experiment, Dipper's nose briefly forgets it's supposed to be a slightly redder hue and just blends into his face. Ironic, isn't it? I mean, Gravity Falls is trying to lecture us on colors, and then their animators forget to color their own main character's nose. Classic Gravity Falls moment. Then there's Stan. Good old Stan sees a rainbow through a window in his office.
Nothing brightens a dark room like light from a window. Time to open the window. Oh no! Why? Why is this happening?
That's a window that has never existed in any previous episodes and shouldn't be facing outside at all. Take a look at this. Can you see any windows? No, because there isn't one. Either the building grew a magical new wall or that window's a metaphor for Stan's increasingly surreal life. In Mabel's Guide to Art, things get a little abstract, and not just in an artsy way. At the end, Mabel says,
And sometimes you have to suffer for your art.
Apparently, that suffering includes missing dental work because Mabel's signature braces completely vanish in the final scene where she's being attacked by cats. We get it. She's screaming, flailing, maybe regretting some artistic decisions, but her braces must have taken the opportunity to run for it. Okay, so moving on to
Fixing it with
in the golf cart shot, the golf cart successfully jumps Stan's car. But the writing STNLYMBL on the car license plate is mirrored. Check this out. This is the license plate in this episode, and this is how it should be. Classic mirroring mistake. Now, we have the short titled Mabel's Scrapbook, heist movie, where in the opening wide shot outside the movie theater, everything looks in order. Until you take a closer look at the posters. Because the Grandpa the Kid Again is posted on the far left next to Horse Dad. But in every other shot, it's magically jumped to the far right beside Monkey Business.
Baloney heist, right? This guy gets me.
And it's missing from the far left. Also, in the projection room, Mabel is munching on a bag of Nyumalums, like it's a casual movie night. But after she hops up to deliver her joke and sits back down, the bag is just gone. Not crumpled, not knocked over, completely missing. Check this out.
Pony heist? More like baloney heist. Am I right?
And in one scene, we have a shot which you'll miss if you blink. And in that shot, there are two identical characters in the audience, just chilling a few rows apart like nobody's gonna notice. I'll let you guys find them. 1, 2, 3. Time's up. It's this girl in pink. Did you guys find the mistake before we revealed it? Do let us know in the comments. And finally, to finish off the short section of this video, we have a little mistake. When Tambry appears in the crowd, her iconic pink highlight decides to flip sides. Just for reference, this is how her hair should be. Okay guys, now we're going to dive into the second season of Gravity Falls. And if you guys think that by the second season, the guys at the Gravity Falls studio would have gotten the gist of everything and would make fewer mistakes, then you're wrong. Because they learned nothing at all, and made even more and even sillier mistakes in this season. So without wasting any time, let's take a look at the errors, silly mistakes, and goofs in Gravity Falls Season 2. First up, we have the episode Scary OK, for example, where Stan turns on the portal in the opening sequence, and some numbers and symbols flash across his face. But they're not mirrored like reflections should be. I don't know about you guys, but I am seriously fed up with the reflections in Gravity Falls. Why can't they just function regularly? Is the behavior intentional or just another mistake that they keep on repeating? Do let us know in the comments. Also, Agent Powers and Agent Trigger are supposed to be the elite feds, right? So it's kind of ironic that they can't even stay in their own seats. In one shot, Powers is on the left and Trigger is on the right. Next time we see them, they've switched spots like they're playing musical chairs. And then Wendy takes the stage when she enters the after party, all ready to mingle.
Ticket, people! You know you don't have anything else going on in your lives.
Now at first, Wendy's wearing a name tag on her shirt, but when she's leaving with the crowd, it's gone. Another case of things going missing in Gravity Falls. Classic. Now let's play a game of Spot the Difference. While Mabel and Dipper are chatting in the attic, her watermelon sweater goes through a bit of a breakdown. Here's the first picture, and here is the second. Can you guys spot the difference? Yep, that's right. First, there are seeds all over the sweater. Then, when she says there's nothing left to discover in the journal, the front of her sweater is missing the watermelon seeds entirely, leaving just the ones on the sleeve and neckline. It's like her sweater gave up halfway through. And the disappearing goofs do not end at Mabel. Let me tell you that Dipper has had his fair share of goofs too. For example, see the shot where he says this?
I don't know why I tell you things.
If you look closely at his nose, it's the wrong color, blending in with his face instead of its usual slightly pink tint. Honestly, I've lost count of how many times the people at Gravity Falls have made this mistake. Anyways, let's move on to another case of random disappearances.
Mash! Brenda has entered the party!
These brains look delicious.
Girls!
Oh my gosh, Mabel! Is that a boombox sweater?
See for yourself.
Poke!
Looks like all's good, right? But the animators made yet another continuity error. When Grenda smashes the stanadas, the floor ends up being covered in candy carnage. But by the time Candy, Grenda, and Mabel are dancing, the mess disappears. I didn't know there were ninja sweepers in Gravity Falls. Now, things don't only disappear in Gravity Falls. Sometimes they appear out of nowhere, like the sleeves on Lee's shirt. In this episode, Lee arrives at the party in a sleeveless shirt, all ready to flex. Until the next shot, where he's suddenly wearing short sleeves. And when the group hits the dance floor, boom, he's sleeveless again. Either Lee's rocking detachable sleeves or the animation team couldn't decide how cool they wanted him to look. And Robbie's entire gang has something wrong with them, but their wardrobes are glitching a little too much in this episode. First it was Lee, and now Tambry also joins in the party scene confusion. When the gang is seen dancing, she's back in her regular daytime outfit, ditching her early party attire. Lazy Susan's lipstick plays a fun game of hide and seek. It's missing when she first enters the mystery shack with her pipe.
Who's got one good eye and one good pie?
And then the lipstick reappears during the zombie chaos and disappears again in the very next shot. Her makeup is clearly just as unpredictable as the town itself. Speaking of Lazy Susan's entrance, she actually clips out of the frame a little early when she walks in with the pie. Watch closely.
Who's got one good eye and one good pie?
Didn't catch that? Watch again.
Who's got one good eye and one good pie?
Also, you guys remember how the zombie madness started in the first place? Yep, it's all thanks to Dipper with his spells.
Wait! This book is real! Gnomes, cursed objects, spells, listen! Corpus Levitus, Diablo Dominus, Mondo Vicia!
But wait, in the journal, the second line of the incantation clearly reads Diablo Dominium. But when Dipper reads it aloud, he says Diablo Dominus instead.
Corpus Levitus, Diablo Dominus, Mondo Vicia!
Not quite the same spell, but hey, maybe the zombies couldn't tell the difference either. Now, we can agree with how bad the guys at the Gravity Falls studio are at coloring. And if you don't, then you should check this out. As Mabel scolds Dipper for raising the dead, take a look at the pink flower in her hair.
Thing I asked you not to do tonight.
Raise the dead.
And what did you do?
Raise the dead.
Okay, so if you didn't catch the mistake, the loose hairs sticking out of her head suddenly turn the same bright pink color as the flower. No matter what you tell me, that's definitely a color layer mix-up. And then the karaoke machine becomes its own sentient entity during the zombie attack. It keeps jumping to different spots in the shack, disappearing and reappearing like it's trying to escape the apocalypse on its own. See this? Here it is on the deck, and then it disappears from Mabel's background. And then as Mabel steps down from the deck, the karaoke machine is already down there. How did that happen? Did it grow legs or something? And wait, it doesn't end there. Here it is behind Mabel in the next shot. It disappears again. And guess what? It appears in the background once again. Also, amidst the zombie chaos, the animators forgot to draw the lights in all the frames. In one shot, behind Seuss, we can clearly see some colorful lights. Nice touch, right? Except they don't exist in any other shot before or after. As Dipper and Mabel back away from the oncoming zombies, Mabel's flower vanishes from her hair completely.
What do we do? Where's Uncle Stan?
How's he supposed to help? He doesn't even believe in the supernatural.
And it didn't just disappear, but decided to come back for a shot later in the episode. Gravity Falls logic, folks. Who are we to judge the weirdness of a town that is meant to be weird? Now, Gravity Falls and Reflections have the hardest time being on the same page. And this episode just proved that again. When Stan sees his reflection in Journal 1's metal hand, the reflection is not reversed like it should be.
He's stubborn, that's his problem. Sort of like me, I suppose.
That's just a good old physics fail. Now the karaoke final has a lot of mistakes. For example, when Stan yells this,
"Deal with it, zombie idiots!"
if you look closely, you can see his fez makes a dramatic return, only to disappear again in the next shot. And then in the next shot, he is seen wearing his fez. That fez is just matching Stan's level of weirdness. And finally, when Stan says this,
Mabel, our lives may not be worth this.
Dipper's iconic gray shorts suddenly turn black. And in the very next shot, well, obviously they're back to being gray. Okay, so now we can move on to the second episode titled Into the Bunker. Wendy's pretty chill in most situations, but apparently not even she's immune to the mutant limb syndrome in Gravity Falls. Why do I say that? Well, this is why. When she reaches for some popcorn early in the episode, she briefly sports 2 left arms. Watch this.
And these movies are a lot less scary when you've actually fought real zombies.
Either we've stumbled onto a new conspiracy involving clone Wendy, or someone in animation was juggling arms and lost track. And in that same popcorn scene, Dipper's face also has a meltdown. His mouth goes rogue and drifts completely off his face for a frame.
Power walk away from them.
How much you want to bet that guy dies first?
Whether it was a glitch in reality or a glitch in Adobe Animate, we'll never know, but the result is both hilarious and horrifying. Also, when Wendy spots the Gravity Falls map inside the tunnel for the first time, it's only about a square foot in size, barely more than a placemat. Check this.
Wait a minute.
But in the next shot, it has suddenly doubled in size. Maps doubling in size? Well, the animators mistakenly added another mystery to Gravity Falls. Now see this.
I'm gonna find another way out!
Wait, what? Dude, where are we going?
Did you guys catch the mistake in the scene? No? No worries. That's what I'm here for. So basically what happened is that initially Dipper goes to find another exit and grabs Wendy's hand. And here, it's her right hand, but in the very next shot, he's somehow holding her left hand instead. Unless they were holding hands behind their backs and spun in unison. Someone clearly flipped the shot. Now you all know how much Dipper likes the journals, right? But did you guys know the journals reciprocated his love back? Check this out. As the shapeshifter drops Journal 3, Dipper moves to pick it up. But here's the kicker. The journal lifts itself partway into his hands before he even touches it. I am pretty sure even the journal wants to be with Dipper now. And then Wendy tears off a whole foot of sleeve fabric in one impressively punk rock move.
And wants Dipper's journal.
But later, when she puts her shirt back on, the sleeve looks like it has lost maybe 2 inches at most. Did she sew it back together off screen, or was the original rip just for dramatic flair? The latter seems plausible, given that we're watching Gravity Falls. And the guys over at Gravity Falls were like, why not end the episode with another mistake? Because at the end of the episode, Dipper and Mabel are seen sitting right in the middle of the log during their sibling moment.
So?
But when Seuss sits down, the twins have magically shifted to the far right end.
It's Mabel.
And then we have the third episode, the Golf War. In this episode, during Dipper's explanation of Mabel's freakish mini golf talent, Stan has a frying pan in his hand. Although we should question why he's holding a frying pan in the first place, even while sitting on a couch. For now, let's focus on why the frying pan just vanishes in the very next shot.
Would kicking all our butts at mini golf cheer you up?
Maybe a little.
Come on, Mabel! Victory!
Honor!
Destiny!
See this? Even the frying pan knew it wasn't his cue yet. I didn't know the animators could drop the props mid-sentence, can they? Or is it just another mistake? And Waddles can't even decide where it wants to be. When everyone jumps up to head for the golf course, Waddles is on the floor. But after a cut to Seuss, he's suddenly lounging on the couch like he'd been there the whole time.
Honor!
Destiny!
Martin! Victory! Honor! Destiny! Martin!
Clearly, teleporting pigs are canon now. Until now, we have seen everything disappear, like nose, eyebrows, ears, and so on. And now we have this frame. When Dipper lines up for a shot, there's a frame where his mouth is completely gone. Maybe he's concentrating that hard. Or maybe his face just gave up under mini golf pressure. Now, when Mabel needed just another hole-in-one to beat her all-time high score, she messed up everything.
You can do it, Mabel. Pretend the ball is Pacifica's face.
But the animators made an even bigger mess. Mabel runs to check if her ball went into the hole, and her putter is nowhere to be seen. Then she's suddenly holding it and angrily throws it.
Nice!
But once again, in the very next shot, it disappears. By the time Pacifica walks up, it's back on the ground. And guess what? A few shots later, it's back in Mabel's hand. That putter has more screen time inconsistencies than some side characters. Also, check this roast battle between Pacifica and Dipper.
Well, if it isn't the Pines family, fat, old, lame, braces.
Zeus, would it be wrong to punch a child?
I've got this. Hey, Pacifica, how's that whole your family being frauds thing working out for you?
Did you guys notice anything strange going on? No? Then you clearly missed it. After Pacifica delivers her classic insult to the Pines family, Dipper is putterless. Until the camera cuts and suddenly he's leaning on it. Even the putter wants to make dramatic entrances in Gravity Falls. Speaking of dramatic entrances, check this out.
Did you hear that?
When Mabel is practicing her final putt, but then he hears a noise inside the windmill, and suddenly he whips one out of nowhere. Grab your club. Apparently suspicious sounds summon golf gear. And in another scene, when the golf course manager drives up to shut things down, one of the wings on his cart passes right through a pole. So either that wing is ghost-coded or physics just waved a white flag. And in the first scene, the wooden cover on the windmill has a design on it when Dipper hears the noise. But wait till later in the episode when he comes back with Mabel to tear it off. The design is gone. So we have a design thief among ourselves. I mean, just how difficult is it to copy and paste the design for every shot, huh? Now, Gravity Falls animators have a vice for disappearing and teleporting objects. But sometimes they teleport characters too. Check this out. Did you get it? When Dipper removes the panel, he's standing to Mabel's right, but a second later he's suddenly to her left. Now, unless they swapped places mid-frame, that's a full-on character teleport, which we will count as a mistake. And it's not just the characters changing places all on their own, but the golf course map is hilariously inaccurate as well. For example, the windmill and pirate ship are right next to each other in the episode, but on the map, they're widely apart. Why would you draw a map if you're not going to follow it? Just why? Now, speaking of following designs, here's another mistake the animators made in this episode. The pirate captain has his eye patch switching sides between every other shot. It's on his left eye when he uses a spyglass, but other times it's on his right. Now, it could be that he keeps swapping it for dramatic effect, but I'm pretty sure it's another one of those classic continuity errors the animators keep making. And towards the end of the episode, after the group barely escapes the Lilliputians and their golf cart crashes, one of the wings looks totally fine in the first scene just after the crash, but in the next shot, both wings are destroyed. Okay, so just to make it clear, you crashed a cart, which apparently had wings on it, and broke one. So far, so good. But then just a few seconds later, you look back at your cart and it's totaled out with both wings destroyed. It could be the after effects. Now, putting that aside, let's take a look at the final error in this episode. Now, Mabel wasn't entirely in the wrong here, but she still apologized, you know, being the bigger person she is.
We shouldn't have cheated. You totally would have beat me, fair and square.
And while Mabel is apologizing to Pacifica, her braces become visible, even though her mouth is closed. Check this out. Someone at the studio clearly forgot to turn off the braces layers for a second there. Honestly, given the number of errors and mistakes we found in every episode, the Gravity Falls animators should be the ones apologizing to the audience. Now let's take a look at Sock Opera, the 4th episode of Season 2. The first mistake I found was another one of those disappearing goofs. While Mabel's going hard on the keyboard while the others are busy making puppets, the bottom half of her leg just disappears. 1 second it's there, the next, cut clean off. And if Mabel's body is glitching, it makes total sense for Dipper's body to reciprocate it as well. They are twins after all. And maybe that is exactly what's happening in this scene.
No hard feelings. I've been keeping an
eye on you
since then, and I must say I'm impressed.
After Bill tells Dipper he's been watching him, Dipper's eyebrows and eyes keep flickering in and out like a broken hologram. Watch this again. Maybe Bill's presence is glitching Dipper's entire face, or the animators were blinking harder than he used to. Now, before Bill forms the iconic screaming head, there's a quick frame where his hand is completely missing. It's a blink and you miss it ghost limb situation. Check this out. Very on brand for a reality-bending demon, though probably not what the storyboard intended. And so, after disappearing hands, we get disappearing braces. Check this out. Yep, you caught that right. When Gabe swings by the shack to visit Mabel, she laughs nervously. And for a second, her braces vanish completely. Maybe Gravity Falls should redefine budget allocation and hire some diligent animators. What do you guys think? And then later in the episode, in a scene in the attic, when Bill offers to unlock the laptop, the password bar disappears from the screen for a moment, and a few shots later, it reappears like it's always been there. It could be that Bill is living inside that laptop. Nah, I think it's a simple goof. Now, what would you do if you got a human's body after being trapped in a triangle your whole life? Well, I don't know about you, but Bill Cipher drank human soda. But wait, he opened a can that was already open. Check this out.
Human soda! I'm gonna drink it like a person!
The cap is already off before he opens it. That's the silliest mistake in this episode. I mean, how do you see an already open can and think, oh, let me add some animation in this scene where Bill opens the can? Did they do it just to stick to the script? Do let me know in the comments. And then, outside the shack, Bill speaks to Seuss and Wendy in this scene.
Oh, hey, Dipper. There you are.
What up, dude?
Zeus, Wendy, help me, help me. We're headed to the theater.
Need a ride, Dipper?
Oh, anything for you, Red.
Now, did you guys catch that as well? No? No problem. So here's what happened. Bill Cipher, who's currently inside Dipper's body, is talking to Seuss. And for a single frame, his pupils vanish, just gone. Which honestly is what you'd expect from a one-eyed triangle who casually warps dimensions. Maybe it's just an allergic reaction to Dipper's body. Also, the theater in this episode is full of silly mistakes and errors. So why not take a look at some of them? First up, in the theater, Wendy and Bill start off sharing the same seat, with one empty seat to their right. Cut to the next shot, they're suddenly in two seats, with the same empty spot next to them. I didn't know the seats could multiply like cells do with mitosis. Well, I guess you learn something new every day. And the seat hopping continues for the entirety of this episode. For example, in one scene, Wendy, Seuss, and Stan are in the front row, with a seat between Wendy and Seuss where Bill is sitting. But when Gabe sits down, they're missing completely. Then, when the show starts, they're back again, only now in the second row, and there's no seat between Wendy and Seuss. People around them keep changing too, including the handkerchief lady and blue overall man. The audience is basically doing musical chairs. Heck, it feels like the chairs are playing musical chairs as well. Now, how often does it happen with you that you buy flowers for someone and they just randomly get replaced by some puppets? Never, right? But apparently it's the norm in Gravity Falls. Why? This is why. When Gabe visits Mabel's dressing room, he shows up holding flowers. But in the very next shot, they've vanished and he's got puppets in both hands. Now, if that is not the norm, then it's definitely a mistake. Looks like someone forgot which prop he was using for Gabe. Now, remember how I mentioned how the blue overall guy was switching seats? Well, that wasn't the end, because in a scene after intermission, the blue overall guy is seated in front of Wendy and way away from the aisle. But when Bipper pulls Mabel up on stage, Gabe is now in the front row, aisle side, with blue overall guy in the third seat. And that woman with glasses just gone. The rest of the crowd morphs too, as if the audience is made up of shape-shifting background extras. And finally, as Bipper chases Mabel around the stage, the front row has magically cleared out. Everyone apparently bailed for safety. Or maybe they just disappeared to make the shot easier to animate. Either way, that's the last error I could find in this episode. And with that, we can now move on to Seuss and the real girl. When Seuss is gaming in first-person Puncher, the screen randomly goes pixelated. That shouldn't happen, right? But still, it did. No in-game reason, just Glitch City. Either it's an aesthetic choice or the resolution got lost in the arcade. And then, while dyeing Abulita's hair, the foil starts silver, as you'd expect since it is a foil. I mean, it's obvious, right? But apparently the animators make mistakes even in obvious things, because by the time she walks away, it's glowing orange. That's not dye. That's full-on radioactive aluminum, because otherwise, how can aluminum be orange? Now, later in the episode, when the door to Hoo Ha Owl's Pizza-Matronic Jamboree shuts, it's already dented and beat up. Okay, so the door already had dents in it before any skee balls were thrown at it. Either this place sees a lot of skee ball abuse, or the damage was pre-installed. Well, putting that aside, check this out.
Huh. Never seen that one before. Virtual?
When Seuss runs into the gaming store, the box where he finds Romance Academy 7 isn't even visible. Okay, so no box, right? But then, when he picks some discs from the shelf, the box appears out of nowhere. Either the box is hiding, or it just materialized from sheer awkward energy. Okay, so let's play another game of Spot the Mistake. See this clip first?
Fully improve your dating skills. 9 out of 10 basement dwellers recommend. This is perfect!
Did you get it? Yes, that is exactly right. The note on the back of Romance Academy 7 disappears when he flips over the case. And like most of the gone missing cases in the show, the note then comes back in the next shot. Like, even the note is unsure if it wants Seuss to read it. Also, when Dipper and Mabel went to Seuss's room to help him get out of the rut, we get this scene.
Man, this game is amazing. I'm making eye contact, going on dates, and I haven't seen any natural sunlight for 13 hours.
Seuss.
Now, if you haven't noticed it already, focus on the cans of Pit Cola on the floor. The number of cans keeps increasing. We have just one can at first, then we get some more. And by the end, we have enough cans to call Seuss a Pit Cola addict. Either someone panic-dropped soda off-screen, or they respawn like Mario items. And then, when Dipper drags Seuss out of the room, the cans are nowhere to be seen. Okay, so first we get exponential increase, and then sudden death? And then, being the good friend they are, Mabel and Dipper decide to help Seuss get out of the rut. During the dragging Seuss from his room scene, Mabel's cheeks blush flickers with outlines for 2 frames before snapping back. It's like her cheeks are buffering. Now let's take a look at the He's Got Attitude poster in Seuss's room. That proudly features the Cool Cube logo in the upper right. However, later, when he leaves for his date, the logo is gone. The poster downgraded itself for some reason. Also, what is up with this red shirt guy? In one scene, he's seen on the first floor of the mall with his wife and kid. Kid? Is that a young Dipper? The same hair and the same cap. It could be another one of his time travel adventures, but I'm pretty sure that the animators made a mistake and used Dipper as some background character. Anyways, let's get back to the red shirt guy, because in the very next shot, he's suddenly alone and on the ground floor. So not only did he ditch his wife and son, but he also teleported. And then, in an intense scene where the guys are hiding behind the toppled arcade cabinet, the character on the side changes from peach-colored to red. Check this.
Oh no!
Here we have the character in one color, and here we have the same character in the same place, just a different color. That poor guy can't even keep their skin tone consistent through the chaos. And lastly, inside the Pizza-Matronic Nightmare Zone, the Star Battle graphics show up on the first-person puncher machine. I can't seem to decide whether it's cross-branding or a lazy asset swap. Either way, that game's having an identity crisis, and the reason is a simple mistake on the editor's side. Now let's move on to the episode Little Gift Shop of Horrors. And the starting of the episode is somewhat different here.
Well, hello there, traveler. I see your car broke down on this lonesome country road. A place so remote that no one can hear your screams.
But wait, I just found another goof. As Stan tries to lure a tourist into the Mystery Shack, his mouth suddenly overlaps his nose for some frames. That's one way to say, come inside, with facial features melting together like wax. Also, check this out.
Come in, but be warned. If you enter, you may be subjected to my tales. Tales designed to sell my merchandise!
Well, that's one way to invite some into your place. However, during his sales pitch, his mouth fully disappears for a single frame. Blink, and it's like Stan's trying to sell the place through psychic projection. When the Pines first find the Hand Witch's table, the stall behind it is labeled Lots o' Pots. Later on, that stall has been renamed Pots Aplenty. Yet another continuity error. At this point, I think the editors are paid extra for each error. Maybe that's the reason we can find so many mistakes and errors. And then, as Stan mocks Dipper's curse paranoia, the background stalls also play musical chairs. Lazy Susan and McGucket's setups vanish, replaced by Pots Aplenty and Cheap Cheap Tires, which also switch sides like they're in a sitcom intro. Pots Aplenty should be on the right since it was next to the witch's stall, but here it is on the left. Okay, so missing hands, that was part of the plot. But what about missing braces? That has to be an animation mistake, right? And why did I mention this? Well, because when Stan dramatically reveals his missing hands, Mabel gasps, but she's missing her braces in that frame. Either the shock knocked them off, or the animators forgot she's still mid-orthodontics. And then we see Waddles turning into the Animal Kingdom's Stephen Hawking. But apparently, he still can't move in a straight line and knocks over the computer and spills the coffee. And the new Waddles proudly presents the What the Heck-a-hedron. But the computer and coffee mug he knocked over earlier? Gone. Apparently, physics isn't the only thing that resets in his pig genius lab. And then, using the newly found genius, Waddles invents the Smarticle Accelerator. And when Waddles shows Mabel the Smarticle Accelerator, Dipper is seen standing on a ladder like in this scene here. But when Waddles puts the thing on self-destruct and breaks everything, the ladder is suddenly gone. And not just the ladder, but Dipper is glitching as well. While Dipper is explaining what the ingenious machine is to Mabel, he's standing beside the ladder. But then he just teleports to a distance from the ladder. And also, when Waddles starts up the Smarticle accelerator, Dipper is standing upright. Then, instantly, he's in a totally new pose with his hands in his pockets, without any in-between frames. Maybe he's evolved to teleportation level coolness. Or maybe that's just a skipped animation. Moving on to the next episode, Society of the Blind Eye, where once again the editors decided to start the episode with a mistake. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so we have McGucket pulling a surprise appearance from under the table, which is weird enough, but he literally materializes out of nowhere the moment Susan shoos him away. Check this again.
Kick, McGucket, kick!
Did you guys catch that? One frame he's not there, the next he's crawling out like a cartoon glitch. Let's take another look at it. Either he has teleportation powers now, or the animators hit Control-V a frame too late. And then check this out.
It's a bottle message from Mermando, remember?
Look all okay, right? But if you hear carefully, you can notice that Mabel pronounces Mermando's name as Mermando here, but in the deep end, she said it Mermando.
Oh yes, Mermando! Yes!
It's not a huge deal unless you're Mermando, and now you don't even know how your name is supposed to sound. Continuity, Mabel. It's all about continuity. And that is one thing Gravity Falls can't have ever. Why do I say that? Because the animators have made so many continuity errors that I've lost count. Here's another one. Lazy Susan's purse strap magically changes color when she sees the gnome stealing her pie. One second it's purple, the next it's yellow like it's trying to match her apron. Either she swapped bags mid-panic, or her purse joined the list of confused background assets. When Dipper places McGucket's photo on the silhouette board, the image mysteriously enlarges. It starts small, but in the next shot, it's nearly poster-sized. Maybe the Society of the Blind Eye has a magical photo zoom feature, or someone didn't resize the asset consistently. And then Susan's apron stain swaps sides when her memory's erased. Initially, the stain is on the right side of the apron, and then check this out.
How do you feel?
I feel great! I can't even remember what was wrong, or what I'm doing here.
The stain is suddenly on the left. Now, it can be one of two things. Either the stain's memory was erased as well, and it forgot where it was supposed to be, or the animators made a mistake. Honestly, the latter seems more plausible. And then, when Mabel grabs the memory erasing gun, the red glass part on the bottom is just gone for a second. This is the actual design for the gun. And this is the one in this frame. Someone forgot to render the sci-fi part of the sci-fi weapon. Okay, so now let's take a look at yet another gone missing mistake in Gravity Falls. First, watch this.
Whoa, look at this.
Okay, so we all saw Robbie's memory tube, right? However, right after Dipper inserts Robbie's memory tube, it just disappears from the slot, in the very next frame. One moment it's in place, the next it's Houdini'd. That memory didn't get erased, it pieced out early. Oh, and I found another mistake with the memory tubes. When McGucket spots his memory tube, the label is clearly facing toward him. But as he grabs it, the label jumps to the other side. Okay, so here, the label's facing McGucket, and here it's on the opposite side. And later it's confirmed that the label's only on one side. So either he rotated it without moving, or that tube's just trolling us. Okay, this whole memory tubes and the memory eraser gun thing is too glitchy. Check this out.
I don't know, Mabel. Are you really sure this is a good idea?
Did you guys notice that when Mabel enters Summer Romance into the memory gun, her hand's nowhere near the dial, but the dial still turns? Take another look at it.
I don't know, Mabel. Are you really sure this is a good idea?
It's like the gun read her vibes and adjusted itself. Sentient weaponry? Wouldn't be the weirdest thing in Gravity Falls. Also, here we can see that all the robed members of the Society of the Blind Eye are mysteriously the same height. But that is only until they take off their hoods, because then we can suddenly see a diverse height lineup. Maybe their robes auto-adjust for cult unity, or maybe that's just some real stretchy fabric. I mean, it's a cult, so it's supposed to be weird, but this is too much. Blind Ivan's forehead label says knowledge up close. Nice and bold. Watch this.
I'm Blind Ivan, and we are the Society of the Blind Eye.
However, from a distance, that same label becomes a bunch of smaller sections. Either he's using a forehead-based memory folder system, or his brain interface design changes based on camera angle. And then we see Dipper and Mabel are tied to a pillar, but they still manage to flail their arms around like they're in a musical number. See how their arms are easily moving even though they're tied around their arms? For supposedly restrained limbs, they've got quite the range of motion. Maybe the ropes were more metaphorical than physical. And for the final mistake I could find in this episode, we have this. As McGucket confronts Blind Ivan, his arm keeps clipping through his own hat. And that happens not once, not twice, but multiple times. Check this out.
Hit me with your best shot, Baldy! But my mind's been gone for 30-odd years!
Maybe he was so hyped on reclaiming his memories, he phased through solid objects. And with that, we can move on to Blendin's Game, the 8th episode of the 2nd season. And in this episode, the candy Seuss takes from the vending machine isn't even in the machine beforehand. It appears just in time for him to pull it out like a surprise loot drop. See this? This here is the candy he picked. And this is the vending machine before he picked the candy. Can you find that candy here? Obviously you can't, because that machine is clearly working on cartoon logic. And then we see Seuss' driver's license getting a quick makeover between shots. In the first shot, it's got 3 stars and a lightning bolt to the right of his signature. In the next, 1 star and the lightning bolt flips to the left. Did Seuss sign 2 versions? Alas, Stan's bandage is absent in every shot except the one where he walks into Seuss' birthday yard. Maybe the animators forgot, or maybe Stan keeps removing it just to make dramatic entrances. And then, check this wide shot of Mr. Z's mattresses. Can you find what's wrong here? Well, one of the men in the wide shot has 2 left arms. Either he's a secret time anomaly or an accidental duplicate limb. Either way, don't let him try to high-five you. And that's not it. I just found another mistake in this place. When Dipper and Mabel hide under the mattress, the time tape measure is gone. After Lolf and Dundren walk off, boom, there it is, chilling next to them. That time machine sure has sneaky placement. Okay, now let's switch the place. Now we're at the Heart a Tap Dance Studio. But since that's also inside Gravity Falls, this place is also full of animation mistakes and errors. For example, watch this scene.
Look out, Broadway, here I come!
Okay, so the first thing I noticed here is that Toby Determine's reflection makes him out to be way too close to the wall. Not only that, but his mouth is misplaced, and the handrail isn't even reflected. This mirror is more cursed than helpful. Also, Stan's Fez has always been subjected to these goofs and mistakes, and if you guys notice carefully, this episode shows the new symbol for his Fez, even though it's a scene from the past. So technically, it should have the old symbol, which means even time flashbacks aren't safe from symbol inconsistency. Canon schmanon. Oh, to have someone like Abuelita to bake you cookies when you're sad.
Zeus, I made you cookies shaped like dinosaurs.
The animators messed up such a beautiful scene as well. How? Well, Abuelita's cookies are shaped like dinosaurs when she bakes them, but later in the episode, when Seuss is alone in his room, they're basic circles. Either someone swapped snacks or the dinosaur cookies evolved into boring shapes. And these guys clearly have a hard time when it comes to orientations. When the mailman reads the name on the postcard, it's upside down relative to the picture. But when Seuss takes it and reads it, it's magically flipped the right way. Apparently postcards also time travel. And then just before Globnar starts, we see this. Did you guys catch that? Initially, Lolf is on Blendin's right and Dundren on his left. Next shot, they flipped. Then they switch back again. Either they're doing it for drama or they're stuck in a loop of bad blocking. Also, in 2 of the images taken during the Globnar, one of Blendin chasing the twins on a giant clock, and the other in the wheelbarrow race, Mabel is missing her braces. Not sure if those fell off during time travel, or if she left them back in the past to avoid timeline contamination. Okay, now it's time to announce the winner of the Globnar. And the winner is... obviously Dipper and Mabel. What did Mabel choose as the prize? Death. Check this out.
Tell us, what fate do you decide for the loser?
Oh, jeez.
Never mind, she just got carried away.
Sorry, got carried away.
But all of that aside, where did the handcuffs on Blendon's hands come from? Maybe Time Baby has instant cuffs, or someone forgot to animate the arrest. And finally, Dipper and Mabel only vaguely explained to Seuss that they got caught up in a time race.
We got caught up in this time travel junk.
And there was a time cyclops.
And don't forget about the time race.
Yet somehow, Seuss perfectly understands that they battled in gladiatorial combat through time and space to win him a wish.
You dudes, I mean, you had a gladiator fight just to make me happy.
If I'm not wrong, Dipper and Mabel never mentioned the gladiator fight. Either he guessed it right, or the writers let him peek at the script. And now, let's take a look at all the goofs and mistakes in the episode The Love God. And the first one I noticed is at the very start of the episode. In the scene where Wendy explains wood stick to the crew, the plug jack on her phone is weirdly see-through. Check this out. Either it's a trendy transparent model from the future or someone forgot to color it in. That headphone jack just ghosted reality. And then, watch this scene.
Ugh, it's even creepier than I expected.
Now, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when the gang finds Robbie dramatically sulking in a grave, the classic pine tree on Dipper's hat goes missing in the bird's eye shot. It's almost like the hat gave up trying to keep up with the emotional drama. While Stan is sewing a rainbow wig onto a taxidermy gorilla, his pit cola can is gray. But in the next shot, it turns pink, like it's embarrassed to be there. Clearly, the soda's having an identity crisis too. Okay, so one coloring mistake is fine, but the guys made another one in the very next shot. Check this out.
They're slow. I can probably take a few down.
Wait, Mr. Pines!
When Stan aims his crossbow at the balloons, his usual beige bandage turns jet black for the shot and then back to normal. It's like his hand joined a secret goth club between scenes. Speaking of that scene, his weapon toolbox is packed with other lethal goodies when he first grabs the crossbow. But as soon as he starts talking to Seuss, the toolbox is completely empty, and he puts the crossbow back into the empty box. Either he chucked them all into a dimension of chaos, or someone hit the clear props button. Now check this out. We have a whole timeline of Robbie in front of us. But wait, none of the photos of young Robbie match the one we saw in Blendon's game, where he has a longer, redder nose and black hair. So either Robbie has a doppelganger childhood, or his parents went back in time and staged a second baby photo session. Now see this.
This is brilliant. The perfect way to sneak cheap snacks into the concert. And it was all Dipper's idea.
Nice.
Well done.
Ideas.
When Wendy praises Dipper with a "well done" after the snack taping stunt, her mouth doesn't move. Watch that again.
Nice.
Well done.
Ideas.
She's pulling full ventriloquist vibes again. That's talent. Okay, now let's take a look inside Thompson's garage, where Dipper, Wendy, and Tambry sit in a tidy semicircle of boxes. But a few shots later, just a second before Lee picks Dipper up, those boxes shift into a straight line like they're in a military formation. Then they bounce back again in the next shot, like nothing happened. And then a few shots later, we see Tambry sitting down at the diner booth and casually placing her purse on the ground. But in the next shot, the purse has vanished without a trace. Either it walked away or the animators did. And the errors don't end there, because in the very next shot, when the love god struts into the diner, he somehow has two chins for a few frames.
Tonight, Love God!
Maybe he's just really enthusiastic about love, or love potions, or diner food. Now this is Tambry's usual hair getup. Did you notice the hair is swept from Tambry's left to right? Now check this.
You don't seem as needy as I used to think you were.
Yep, it's exactly what you're thinking. After Tambry eats the love potion, her signature side-swept hair flips to the opposite direction, and then returns to the usual direction in the next shot. Love really does change you, sometimes down to your hair physics. And then the error shifted from Tambry to Robbie. As Robbie and Tambry exit the diner, Robbie's black belt briefly turns blue.
Other than my phone for a while.
Either his outfit is love-enhanced or the colorist was running out of hex codes. I think that the animators have something personal against this couple. What do you guys think? When Mabel shows off her happiness chart, the drawing of Lee is half finished for a single frame.
be?
Maybe she was updating it mid-sentence, or the timeline is collapsing in on itself. After Nate finds out about Robbie and Tambry dating, his mouth fully disappears for a frame.
Robbie and Tambry?
Honestly, that is a valid reaction to that news. He was probably too stunned to speak, literally. Coming back from the commercial, we get to see this.
Wait, guys, don't go! Not my mailbox! Ow!
Okay, so while everyone is leaving the garage, everyone's still in their party outfit, but if you look closely, Wendy is suddenly back in her default outfit, not the party gear she wore earlier. Either she did a super quick change or her model got reset like an action figure. Now we all know how bad Gravity Falls is with colors, but this is too much. When Mabel digs through the Love God's potion belt, the bottle keeps changing color and order.
Puppy love, interspecies love, love of country music. Ew. Oh, anti-love.
See how the bottles kept playing musical chairs? Or should we say musical colors? And then in another scene, she grabs the black anti-love potion, but it's still there when the Love God runs off.
Back here!
Dipper, catch!
So apparently this belt restocks on the fly. Now in one shot, while looking over the Stan balloon drawing, Stan's signature hand bandage is missing. He's healed, but only temporary since the bandage comes back in the very next shot. Classic Gravity Falls behavior. Now, I think that there's something wrong with the Stan balloon. Well, you can check for yourself.
For our terrible taste in everything!
Oh, so that's what's up here. So when the hot air balloon launches, it has no basket. But as it rises in later shots, bam, there's a basket. It just popped into existence like surprise DLC. Also, nothing could come close to the theatrics of this scene.
Eat us? Yes, Charlie! Yes, he will!
But wait, no matter how intense the moment is, the animators are certain to mess up. Did you guys notice the disappearing blanket? No? The blanket under Charlie and his mom disappears the moment the shot widens. Poof, gone. Either it folded itself up out of fear of being trampled, or someone just forgot it existed. Also, when Love God holds the anti-love potion, the bottle is suddenly way bigger than all the others, even though the potions were clearly all the same size before. That one's the family size heartbreak formula, apparently. Then there's the infamous Snadger, a romantic badger-like hybrid.
They're gonna make a Snadger.
I mean, it's okay to have a weird animal in a weird show, but the badger's a European species not found in the US, which means either Europe is leaking wildlife into Gravity Falls, or that badger is really lost. And finally, when the teens spot Thompson getting manhandled by security, Tambry's leggings disappear, only to come back again in the next shot. Check this out.
Hey, look!
That Thompson?
Oh man, yeah, fight the machine, Thompson!
It's a blink and she's pantsless kind of error. And Gravity Falls, fortunately, or unfortunately, has a lot of these. The Northwest Mansion Mystery. Now, do you guys remember how the episode The Gulf War ended? Yep, it was a shot of the Northwest Manor, decorated to celebrate Pacifica's victory. But wait, the Northwest Manor's exterior had had a full makeover since the Gulf War. In this episode, we have a lot more windows on the front, as compared to the other episode. Also, now we have just one big fountain, but before we had two fountains with a statue in the middle. And where did that statue go? Also, check this out. Even the front gate is different. I'm not sure whether the animators forgot that continuity is a thing, or if the mansion actually had a makeover. Okay, now watch this.
Be strong, Bladder. We're not gonna move till sunset.
We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news.
Oh, what?
It's starting!
Turn it up!
Make room for Grenda!
Did you guys catch the mistake? Yep, that's right. It's another case of things randomly disappearing and being replaced. As Dipper chills in a recliner, there's a pizza box next to him, until it gets replaced by a can of Pit Cola in the next shot. Didn't expect the food props to fight for screen time, did we? Speaking of things randomly disappearing and appearing out of nowhere, check this out.
And that's not just jealousy talking. I'd say that to her face.
What did we see here? When Pacifica arrives and Dipper opens the door, he's in socks. But by the time he agrees to help her, he's fully wearing shoes. Check this.
Fine, I'll bust your ghost.
Either he changed in record time or the animators decided socks weren't dramatic enough. Also, this has to be the most concise dialogue ever.
I need your help.
You're the worst.
But wait, did you guys see what I saw? In the heat of an argument, when Dipper tells Pacifica, "You're the worst," her sunglasses vanish from her head. And like always, they come back in the next shot. Maybe his words physically knock them off. Okay, so first, Dipper and Pacifica made a deal to work together, and then Grenda, Mabel, and Candy made a truce. However, Gravity Falls stays true to its custom of making errors and mistakes, even in the best moments. And maybe that's why Grenda briefly shows two ponytails in the background, before making a truce with Mabel and Candy. This is either a new hairstyle glitch or the ponytails have gone rogue. Now check this out.
Cheese, chocolate. Candy, listen to me carefully. You're caught in a sweet savory loop. Put the fondue fork down.
Cheese and chocolate? I'm doubting that combo, but let's not divert from our goal. Mistakes. We need to find mistakes. Candy drops cheese on pastries early on, but by the time she talks to Mabel, there's no cheese trail. Also, the two bowls have swapped their places. Either the food cleaned itself up, or it's shape-shifting with the rest of the house. Okay, now watch this.
You've got something on your shirt!
Well, that is one very weird way to flirt with a prince. But putting flirting strategies aside, let's take a look at the mistake I found in this scene. When Grenda tricks Marius with a fake stain, one appears just long enough for him to glance down, then disappears before she flicks his nose. That stain's just doing cameos now. Now let's raise a toast to inconsistencies. Before Preston's toast, no one had cider glasses in their hands. Then, suddenly, a few people have cider. After his glass breaks, everyone's suddenly holding one. Check this out. Either they all poured at once off screen or cider appeared magically out of peer pressure. And with a tragic turn of events, Dipper gets turned to wood. But the Gravity Falls animators took this chance to clear their backlog of mistakes. Why do I say that? Well, when he gets turned into wood at first, his bow tie isn't tied. However, later, as Pacifica gazes at him, it's neatly tied. Okay, so at first it's untied, and then it's tied. But wait, once he's human again, it's back to untied. The bow tie clearly has more agency than most minor characters. And for the final mistake, I found one in the ending credits of the episode. It's a simple one, but a mistake is a mistake. Alex Hirsch is credited for voicing Stan and Seuss. Check this out. Looks good, right? I mean, that's the correct guy, but no. How is he being credited for something he didn't do? Because neither Stan nor Seuss appears or speaks in the episode. Either they were ghost cameos or someone forgot to update the credits template. Either way, that's a clear mistake. Now we can move on to the episode Not What He Seems. First, check this out.
Not so fast, kids! There is no way on Earth you're setting off those dangerous illegal fireworks. Without me.
Now in this scene, when Stan insists on crashing the fireworks party, Dipper and Mabel are standing one way, and in the next shot, they've magically switched places. Either they're doing ninja-level seat swaps or the animators scrambled the twin positions again. And then in the very next shot, as Dipper pulls a popsicle from the rooftop cooler, the lid is clearly closed. And yet, somehow, he retrieves one without opening it. Either that cooler is magic, or Dipper phased through it like a popsicle sorcerer. Okay, so 2 mistakes in one scene? Nah, 3 mistakes in one scene. Why? Well, because here is another one. During the fireworks admiration moment, the cooler disappears for a few frames, like it decided to take a break. It's there, then not there, then back again. Maybe it ducked out to enjoy the view. Also, Stan's jacket can't make up its mind. At first, the jacket is buttoned up in this scene.
With water balloons?
I don't see why not.
While playing with fireworks and water balloons, it flips to being unbuttoned. And then it goes back to being buttoned up as soon as the teens are done playing with water balloons.
I'm gonna go refresh my soda. Enjoy it while you can, Stan. You'll find out sooner or later.
Either he's dressing and undressing in hyperspeed, or wardrobe continuity got lost in the fun. When Agent Powers tells Dipper and Mabel about the Doomsday device, the twins switch spots again mid-dialogue.
We've been watching your family all summer, and we've seen some disturbing things. But but nothing as dangerous as what your uncle is hiding. Somewhere hidden in this shack is a doomsday device.
Did you guys catch that? Here is the initial scene, and then here they are swapped. Gravity Falls may bend time, space, and apparently basic seating logistics. Also, the monitor for the CCTV camera in Mystery Shack is going bonkers. I mean, does it work on a different time scale than everything else? Why did it go directly from 4:59 to 5 o'clock? That's one very weird clock, but then it is in Mystery Shack, so it kind of makes sense. Okay, so how many scenes have we seen where Stan's signature hand bandage went missing? A lot, right? So why not add another one to the list? Well, the bandage vanishes when he pays the taxi driver after escaping from the prison, only to return in the next frame.
You know where the Mystery Shack is?
Yeah?
Okay, here's $100. Drive as far away from the shack as possible.
This bandage has been on its own side quest since episode 1. Now, check this out.
Can't be. It's impossible. The other 2 journals?
Okay, so Dipper is accusing Stan of stealing the journals. But wait, do you guys remember the orientation? So it was 1, 3, and 2. But check this out.
And this machine is his master plan.
Journals 1 and 2 have swapped places mid-theory. But wait, they get back in their original position in the next scene.
His master plan.
Even the books are getting confused about which secrets they're hiding. Wait, before I move on, let's watch this scene again.
His master plan.
While theorizing about Stan and his master plan, Dipper opens the journal to assemble the universal portal. But everything's messed up like always. Dipper opens Journal 1, but the portal pages inside are from Journal 3, because Journal 1 has the bottom part of the blueprint, not the top left part. So technically, this should be Journal 1, and this should be Journal 3. Later, when he flips through the journal at the bottom, which should be Journal 3, the pages don't match Journal 3's content at all. Basically, the blueprints are assembling themselves at this point. Honestly, this scene has too many mess-ups. For example, check this scene when Dipper reads the black light warning.
I was wrong the whole time. The machine was meant to create knowledge, but it is too powerful. I was deceived, and now it is too late. The device, if fully operational, could tear our universe apart.
The problem? Could you find the line, "I was deceived and now it is too late," in the actual message for me? No, you can't, because it does not exist. Either Dipper's paraphrasing or he's suddenly psychic. And finally, to finish off this episode, we have the climactic underground sequence. And in that scene, when Stan enters the bunker, the door to the portal room is open.
This all stops now!
Don't touch that button!
But it can't decide whether to stay open or closed, since in the next shot, it's suddenly closed. And in the next shot, voila, it's open again.
Dipper, just back away!
Wait, my gut says it's going to close again. Yep, I was right. In the next shot, it's closed. Okay, you get the trend here. Once it's closed, what happens next? Yep, it opens up on its own. So yeah, it's open again, just 1 second later. Yeah, Dipper, back away. The door's going to explode from madness. I mean, in what universe do the doors jump positions multiple times? Like they're trying to add some drama of their own. Now, if you guys remember, at the end of Not What He Seems, while trying to get back to the underground portal room, Stan's left coat sleeve is torn from a tree branch.
There when it happens! Ah!
Now, see this.
Finally, after all these long years of waiting, you're actually here! Brother!
Whoa, I guess reunions are a touchy subject in Gravity Falls. Anyway, let's get back on track. If you focus on Stan's jacket, the tear has magically repaired itself. Gravity Falls, where clothes repair themselves between episodes. Now, you just saw Ford punch Stan, right? Did you find a mistake in that scene? No? Fine, I'll let you watch it again.
Brother! Oh, ow! What the heck was that for?
This was an insanely risky move, restarting the portal.
Did you get it now? Yes, that's right. After Ford punches Stan, Stan's hand bandage vanishes again. Now, like every sibling duo, Stan tries to return the favor, and suddenly the bandage is back as soon as he loads the punch.
30 years ago?
What I did? Why, you ungrateful!
When Dipper asks Ford about college and he says, not exactly, Ford's hair is styled like his younger self, pointing down instead of up.
Fake IDs.
Oh, wait, what about you? Did you end up going to your dream school?
Not exactly.
The scene must have borrowed flashback hair by mistake. Alright, so if you guys are wondering if it's been too long since we last found a spelling mistake, you're right, so check this out.
What to study? My whole life I'd been teased for my 6 fingers, but that got me thinking about anomalies.
things that were odd.
Yep, that's right. The anomaly book Ford reads in college has a spelling error. It calls the condition polycephaly instead of polycephaly. Looks like even paranormal textbooks have typos. And then, as Stan crosses states off his banned from list, New Jersey is still untouched. Check this out. But wait, wasn't that the first state to give him the boot? I am pretty sure it was. Let's rewind a bit.
Pitchforks. Suckers! I was officially banned from New Jersey.
Yep, he was first banned from New Jersey. So that means that the Sharpie missed its mark. No problem, Sharpie. We all have our bad days. Also, when Dipper excitedly reacts to Ford writing the journals, Stan's chin suddenly develops a cleft just like Ford's. Check this out.
I began to keep a journal.
The journals!
Sorry, just got excited there.
I mean, Dipper's excitement is justified, but why is Stan's chin acting up here? It's like his face was temporarily trying to be part of the twin act. When Stan visits Ford's house, the door he knocks on switches between shots. At first, it's the front door, which leads to the future museum. And in the next shot, it flips to the back door in the hallway. And where did the radioactive waste barrels appear out of? So the Mystery Shack has been like this since the start? Noted. And also, nothing says welcome home like sudden nuclear danger. Now, check this out.
Listen to this. You want me to get rid of this book? Fine, I'll get rid of it right now.
No, you don't understand.
You said you wanted me to have it, so I'll do what I want with it.
If you guys look closely, you can see that when Stan lights a match to burn Journal 1, it faces Ford. Then in the very next shot, it's facing Stan. I think the animators got confused between the twins. Or maybe they just made a mistake. Honestly, given how many mistakes we have already gone through, I'm pretty sure it's just another mistake. Now, the scene where Ford tries to compete with his twin in who can deceive others better, we can find multiple mistakes. First, we see Ford using Mabel's drawings for fake paperwork, but the crayon phase, what hath science wrought, blinks in and out like it can't decide if it wants to be funny or ominous.
Well, what are you waiting for? A kiss on the cheek? Get out of here before I have your butt court-martialed.
Yes, sir.
Also, Ford's outfit in this scene is his regular one, just darker, but he was wearing his portal outfit seconds earlier. Quick change or closet in the void. There's also a moment where the back of Ford's coat isn't colored in, leaving a blank space between his legs. That's not mysterious, it's just unfinished. That's definitely a mistake made by the animators. And now let's take a look at the errors and mistakes in the episode Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. And as always, I found a coloring error in this episode as well. Watch this scene, as Dipper explains the rules of DD and MD to Mabel. Her sweater collar flashes purple for a shot before returning to normal. Her sweater's apparently playing a magical color matching game. And not just Mabel's sweater, but her letters are also acting up. Because the scene where Mabel's writing a letter to her parents is a full-blown continuity meltdown. First, she starts off with the obvious.
Dear Mom and Dad, we've been in Gravity Falls for a few months and so much has happened.
And as she writes this part down, there's something written in blue ink at the bottom of the letter. But as soon as the shot changes, the bottom part is empty. Then she proceeds to write this while commenting.
Yesterday, gravity reversed itself, almost destroying the universe and totally wrecking the whole town.
After writing that down, most of the letter has been filled up, right? Then the camera shifts to the television, and when the camera pans back to Mabel, the letter suddenly has more space at the bottom. Then she says this.
Now we have 2 Brunkles for the price of 1.
But as you saw, she didn't write that part down. But wait, if she didn't write that down, then how did it show up in the drawings? Also, her pen starts with purple ink, but when it zooms in, the ink suddenly turns blue. Time to get that pen checked. Now, what has Stan been up to?
And I recreated the main character out of some spare taxidermy parts.
Understandable, Stan. Understandable. But wait, did you guys catch that? While Stan staples a turkey head onto a beaver body, his burn mark shows up on the left side of his back, opposite of where it usually is. Maybe the burn is now migratory. Now, obviously Stan has to present his newest invention, right? That's a good one, Stan. Right, guys? But did you guys notice that Stan also sports a cleft chin when showing Mabel his taxidermy duck-tective? For just one shot, he morphs into his twin again, like his face is stuck on shuffle. Also, in the attic scene where Dipper is designing his dungeon late at night, Mabel is obviously wearing her matching headband. But then suddenly Mabel's headband vanishes, then reappears in the next shot. Blink and it's gone. Blink again and it's back. Schrodinger's headband. And then when Mabel, Stan, and Grenda find Ford and Dipper mid-game, Ford only has 5 fingers on each hand.
Viewing positions, everyone!
I mean, 5 fingers per hand? Aren't 5 enough? But wait, it's Ford we're talking about. Looks like even interdimensional geniuses can't keep their digits straight. And for the final mistake I could find, we have this scene where the wizard smashes a hole in the shack's wall and takes Ford and Dipper with him. And earlier in the scene, Mabel and Grenda are wearing duck-tective hats. But a beat later, same spot, same people, but the hats are gone. Those hats didn't fall off, they full-on evaporated. Okay, now let's move on to the next episode where we're having an election in Gravity Falls. And the number of candidates? More than the population of Gravity Falls.
What do you say, folks? Are we just gonna let Bud win? How about a real election?
Get in there, Cap!
Okay, so Tyler and Sport have both thrown their hats along with others, right? But then, how are they wearing their hats in the very next shot?
Election! Election! Election!
I mean, how is that possible? Either they boomerang back onto their heads or the animators forgot how physics works. And this election was a prime opportunity for the animators to make more mistakes. Because at the mayoral meeting, Bud Gleeful dramatically punches a hole in the Gravity Falls map where the mystery shack is.
I'll win either way, and when I do, you might not like the Gravity Falls you wake up in.
Now, you'd think that kind of damage would stick, but nope. Gravity Falls now featuring self-healing cartography. And like I said, this election and particularly this town hall meeting are filled with errors. Here's another one. Robbie starts the town hall meeting sitting at the back with his parents and Tad Strange, which you can see in this shot. But the second everyone yells, "Election!" he teleports to the front row with Pizza Guy and Lazy Susan.
Election! Election! Election!
Robbie's emo powers now apparently include instant crowd hopping. And the glasses girl sitting behind Seuss in this shot is suddenly replaced by a little girl in a pink dress in the very next shot. And a few shots later, the glasses girl is back. Okay, now just before the radio interview, Seuss is seen rocking a fancy blue suit until the phone rings. Then without any transition, he's back in his normal outfit.
Okay, Uncle Stan, are you ready for your first radio interview?
I got my mouth, don't I?
Either he rage quit formal wear, or the continuity just took a coffee break. Now something is definitely off with Seuss's wardrobe. Because when Seuss collapses after being mind-controlled by Mabel's ties, the staff logo on the back of his shirt vanishes.
Amazing!
Guys, something weird just happened. I'm really freaked out.
See this? There should be a staff logo here, but there's nothing. The mind control was apparently so strong that it erased fabric details too. Also, just a few shots earlier, when Dipper exposes the mind control ties, both ties look exactly the same.
Every one of those speeches, we were controlling you!
Dipper?
What?
This tie is a mind control device invented by Ford. If it wasn't for this tie, you'd be losing.
Now the ties here may be the same, but originally they were supposed to be distinct. I guess evil neckwear just likes to match. And later in the episode, Stan gets his Our Hero sash from Mabel. And just before this scene, there's a mug perched on the fish tank. But after he grabs the sash, the mug is gone and a shrunken head has replaced it.
Uncle Stan, are you crying?
I got campaign confetti in my eye.
Unless the mug transformed into a head, which, given that we are in Gravity Falls, is not entirely impossible. That's just pure background chaos. Now let's see Stan putting on the sash.
Come on, kids. Want to go vandalize Mayor Tyler's mansion?
Okay, Gravity Falls, how difficult is it to show a person wearing a sash correctly, huh? Stan initially puts the sash on upside down, but by the time it settles around his shoulders, it's magically right side up. Maybe the sash read the room and corrected itself. Also, when Candy's helping Stan with the election campaign, her leggings are missing. Then, when she shows him voter statistics, boom, the leggings are back. Gravity Falls fashion is even less consistent than its physics. That was it for this episode. Now let's move on to the next one, The Last Mabelcorn. And right off the bat, I found this. When Mabel jumps up after Ford mentions needing unicorn hair, her legs leap with her, but a second pair of Mabel's legs remains sitting in the chair.
Uncle Ford, can I please go on this quest? I am literally obsessed with unicorns.
Either she's part centipede now, or animation layering got way too complicated. Now check this out.
We can't bill-proof the shack. We're going to have to do the next best thing. We're going to have to bill-proof our minds.
After Ford shows Dipper his study, the switch on the Project Mentum helmet is silver, but in later scenes it's black. So either the helmet upgraded itself or someone swapped the prop when no one was looking. Now watch this.
Presenting bum-ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Now move your attention to Wendy. When Mabel approaches Celesta Bella Bethabel, Wendy's iconic jean shorts vanish for a bit, but they pop back into place when the girls head back. Either she briefly entered a formal wear timeline or denim physics is broken too. Also, the Gravity Falls animators thought that if they had already made a coloring mistake, why not make a spelling mistake as well? Because why not? I mean, they are competing on who's the best toddler, or so it seems. Because on Ford's mind-reading helmet, the recurring thought, "I miss Dimension 52," is spelled Dimension 52. Apparently, even advanced mental technology can't spell check. And then they thought that we should make something disappear as well. Otherwise, how can people tell if it's a Gravity Falls episode or not, right? So they did this. When Grenda goes full undercover in jacket and shades to hand over a jar of butterflies, her mold just disappears. Maybe she applied a little too much makeup for her secret mission. Now, check this out.
So it's a fight you want? Well, then it's a fight you're gonna get!
Whoa, that's the battle of the century right there, guys. But wait, as the girls run towards the unicorns, Mabel's braces vanish from her teeth. Did the sheer magic of the unicorns cancel out orthodontics? In Ford's flashback with Bill, Ford shakes hands with his left hand when he says, "Just call me," but it flips to his right hand by the time he says, "a friend." Check this out and keep your focus on his hands.
Then it's a deal. From now until the end of time.
Just let me into your mind, Stanford!
Please, call me a friend.
Did you guys catch that? Interdimensional being or not, that's a pretty impressive handshake swap. And then after Dipper tries to erase Ford's memories, Ford tells him this.
If that really was Bill, though, you would have done great. I should have been more like you.
Now, if you focus on his hands, you'll see the fingers glitching. The scene starts with his usual 6 fingers, and one finger goes missing mid-scene and returns in the next frame. Maybe the stress made him lose one temporarily. Also, just before this scene, Dipper drops the rift and the memory gun during the chaos. Okay, so he dropped the 2 props when Ford picks him up, right? That means that the 2 items should be on the ground. Is that right? But they're completely missing from the floor in the next scene. Either someone cleaned up mid-fight or they rolled into an alternate dimension. Now for the final error I found in this episode. Check this scene at the end of the episode. When the girls return to the shack with the unicorn hair and Wendy's left eye is swollen from the brawl, but when Ford talks to Mabel about being a good person, her right eye is swollen instead, only to switch back to her left eye when Stan charges in. Her black eye can't pick a side. Or it's just the animators working late nights without coffee again. Okay, so let's now take a look at the episode titled Roadside Attraction. And the animators decided to start this episode with a bang. With a goof. Now this episode starts with a road trip vengeance adventure.
Dude, it's the ultimate Oregon road trip adventure.
More like revenge trip. Every year my tourist trap competitors prank the Mystery Shack. Last year those hooligans duct taped Zeus to the ceiling.
That was a fun 78 hours.
When Seuss says that was a fun 78 hours while tying bags to the RV, his mouth literally disappears for a frame. 1 second he's happily chatting, the next he's just blank. Seuss is so chill he doesn't even need a mouth to speak. Now I didn't expect Dipper to be a creep, but check this out.
All your stuff, even the stuff you kept in that secret box under the bed. Whoa! What the?
In Dipper's infamous box of Wendy photos, one shot shows him wearing his hat without the pine tree emblem. Without that pine tree, it's just some sad blue cap. Like Dipper's soul during the whole Wendy saga. Am I right? And at least he's feeling doubtful about dating multiple girls. Check this out.
Worried, though. I mean, is it bad to flirt with this many girls at once? I'm just trying to get over Wendy. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Please.
When Dipper ponders if it's wrong to flirt with multiple girls, he's shown nearly neck deep in the hot tub, cut to Stan giving him advice, and suddenly the water's only up to his chest. Maybe the water had stage fright and receded. And in this scene, Stan cracks open a can of Pit Cola while chilling in the hot tub. In that same moment, Dipper's hands are empty. Blink, and the next shot, Dipper's just casually holding a Pit Cola like it was there the whole time.
You're not gonna see any of these gals again. To moving on.
Magic soda transfer confirmed. Now, Candy has a crush on Dipper? That's a weird turn of events for sure.
Okay, it begins with a D and ends with an ipper.
No.
Yes.
Even the animators were so shocked by this that they forgot to draw the hair. As Candy confesses her crush to Mabel and Grenda, for one brief frame, the hair beneath her neck is missing. Candy, where's the rest of your neck hair? Did nerves literally make it vanish? And then when Mabel shovels marshmallows into her mouth, an extra set of teeth appears layered over her top row of teeth. That's either a terrifying mutation or Mabel just unlocks a bonus mouth for extreme snacking. While sitting with Dipper on the mummy attraction bench, Candy's socks vanish for one frame. Gravity Falls apparel has a long, proud tradition of just not feeling like showing up sometimes. And the final error I found in this episode is when the Mystery Shack gets pranked at the end of the episode. And Granny Sweetkin pops into the background a few frames late, like she fast traveled there. Wait, let me show you that in slow motion. Plus, one of the neon green "You Stink" graffitis turns brown later on. Maybe the graffiti aged rapidly, or maybe they just ran out of green paint. Oh, finally an episode with a relatively smaller number of mistakes and errors. But I still managed to find 6 of them. I'm talking about the episode Dipper and Mabel vs. the Future. The first one is in this scene.
TV taught me that high school is like some sort of musical.
TV lied, man. If you can avoid growing up, do it.
When Wendy excitedly grabs Mabel and shouts that the TV lied. Mabel's backpack randomly flashes blue for a few frames before snapping back to its normal color. It's like even her backpack couldn't handle Wendy's energy. And then I found a small problem with Lee and Nate's letter rearranging prank. It looks okay until you realize that they somehow rearrange Sawdust Inhalation Drill 8 o'clock, Go Fighting Beavers, to say no escape. But there's no C or P in the original phrase. Unless they pulled those letters out of thin air. That's some black magic spelling. And then we have this.
Do of anything.
Initially, Dipper and Ford are shown deep beneath the cliffs. But as Ford holds up his keychain spaceship dramatically, the perspective randomly switches so they're above the cliffs. Either the ground raised up with them or gravity decided to do its own thing. And after Dipper crawls out of the trench, which the droid made, he scoops up his walkie-talkie, and next to it are a flashlight, pen, and notebook. But in the very next shot, the walkie-talkie's all alone. Looks like the other tools decided to yeet themselves out of the scene. When Bill possesses Blendin, he pulls off Blendin's goggles to reveal his eyes. I mean, it looks cool and all, but in the next shot, when Bill has left Blendin's body, Blendin is back to wearing his goggles like nothing happened. Either his eyewear respawns or Blendin has backup goggles just for emergencies. And after Bill leaves Blendin's body and Blendin collapses, he falls directly on top of the broken pieces of the Rift's glass orb. Check this out. Now remember the placement. Why do I say that? Because in the next shot, his body is somehow lying beside the shards. Either he rolled over dramatically, or gravity in Gravity Falls is even less consistent than usual. And for the final mistake, we have the scene where the citizens stare up in horror at Bill's arrival. And in this shot, Lazy Susan is shown with both eyes wide open. Normally, she has to physically hold her lazy eye open. So unless sheer terror magically fixed her vision, that's a clear animation oops. Okay, so now we're approaching the finale of Gravity Falls and taking a look at Weirdmageddon Part 1. This episode is no less than the others when it comes to errors and goofs. For example, when Amorphous Shape, one of Bill Cipher's henchmen, makes his big entrance, his aura is a clean, spooky white. Cool. However, it switches to cyan for the rest of the episode. Like he got a new skin unlocked mid-scene. Fashionably chaotic. And during the Chaos Stampede, Nate shows up twice in the fleeing crowd. Check this out. Did you catch the guy's clone? See this? And then this is him as well. Either he's moving at light speed or Gravity Falls just duplicated a few terrified teenagers to save time. After Gompers chomps a piece out of Stan's hat, Stan drops his hammer while yelling at the goat.
Hey! That's it, goat. It's time I threw you off this property for good!
Okay, so the hammer's on the ground, right? But when Gompers grows giant after the weirdness pulse, Stan's hammer has mysteriously vanished. Gompers must have eaten that too. Or did the guys at the studio make another mistake? That's for you guys to decide. And then, as Stan starts screaming and running from Mega Gompers, his mouth doesn't even try to match the yelling audio. Check this out.
On second thought, I'm gonna run like a coward now.
He looks calm on the outside, but is having such a severe panic attack on the inside that he forgot that he's a con artist, not a ventriloquist. Okay, I for one didn't know that jails have finger painting days, but let's see what Gideon made.
Okay, inmates, time to review your finger paintings. Good. Nice. Gideon, does this look like someone who's ready to re-enter society?
Whoa, Gideon, you don't have a talent for painting, that's for sure. Maybe check out some other hobbies while we find mistakes in here. Now Gideon's prison finger painting gets a remix after Gompers chews through the wall. This is the before, and this is the after. The pictures shift positions, and the word love disappears like the artist's rage quit mid-invasion. Also, Dipper's trust hat completely vanishes when he bolts out of the bell tower, just before Bill confronts Ford.
Listen, I know of one other way to defeat Bill. It's... Oh no, Dipper, run, get down!
Good old Six Finger.
See here, he was wearing one before, but then it just vanished. Also, when Bill freezes Ford and rushes up to Dipper, Journal 3's 3 mark disappears for a frame. Check this.
Hand over my uncle, or else!
Now isn't this interesting?
Now let's go a few frames back, and here we go. The hand on the journal is empty, and the number 3 is nowhere to be seen. Maybe it got spooked by Bill, or maybe even cursed books need a break sometimes. Now Toby has his own set of anomalies going on. Check this out.
This just in. This arrow in my shoulder.
Okay, so we have an arrow in his shoulder, but in the very next shot, the arrow is nowhere to be seen. Also, Toby's got several darts stuck in his arms, but when he falls over, all the arm darts are magically gone. Now if you look closely, only his head ones remain, while the ones on his arm are gone to picnic. Like gravity did some very selective cleaning. And we've seen so many finger mix-ups that this one doesn't seem so strange. But still, let's check it out.
Under the authority of Bill Cipher, I place you two under arrest.
Gideon only has 4 fingers on each hand during some major scenes in this episode, like the one where he makes his grand entry at the Automart, and he has 4 fingers in the shot in front of the prison bubble. However, in all other scenes, he's rocking 5 fingers, like this scene here, and also this one. Gideon's fingers are optional accessories now. Now watch this. Okay, so the hat fell down in the car, right? I mean, that's what we saw. And also in the next scene, after Dipper and Wendy find Seuss, the ground is empty. But then Dipper does this.
Your arm is okay.
So what's the bad news?
Bad news is we're surrounded, dude.
Yep, he picked up his hat off the ground and put it on, even though the hat shouldn't have been there. Gravity Falls logic. Hats teleport when emotionally appropriate. Also, when Seuss checks Wendy for injuries after the crash, her right hand glove vanishes for one quick shot, like it forgot it had a shift to cover. Check this.
Let me see what the damage is here. Well, the good news is your arm is okay.
Gloves? No gloves. Yet another case of vanishing accessories. Honestly, the guys over at the Gravity Falls studio need to apologize for all of these mistakes. Don't you guys think so? Now check this out.
Roll out!
Okay, let's count the vehicles. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 vehicles in total. And 2 of them are bikes. But when Gideon leads his team against the I-Bats, the motorcycles and their rider have just blinked out of existence. And we have 5 cars now. And for the final mistake, watch this scene.
This brainiac is the one who built the portal in the first place. Aw, don't look so sour, Fordsy. It's not too late to join me. With that extra finger, you'd fit right in with my freaks.
When Bill introduced Ford to the henchmen, at first Hectorgon has his arms intact. However, if you look closely, you'll see that the poor Hectorgon is missing his arms in the later shot. Bill's recruitment pitch was so bad even Hectorgon's limbs noped out. Moving on, we have the second part of the Weird Mageddon, Escape from Reality. And the animators couldn't resist starting the episode with errors. And that's why in the starting sequence, before the henchmaniacs head out to spread chaos worldwide, the gang's all there, including the I-Bats, 8-Ball, Amorphous Shape, and even Lava Lamp Guy. Now see this.
This dimension is ours!
Okay, so the gang is now leaving, but the characters that left the pyramid don't include 8-Ball, Lava Lamp Guy, or Amorphous Shape. And in the next shot inside the pyramid, it's empty except for Bill. So my question is, where did 8-Ball and the other 2 go? Either they all teleported without telling the others, or someone forgot to copy-paste them back in. Also, at the end of Weird Mageddon Part 1, the previous episode, Seuss is still sporting his sleek black poncho and clean clothes. But kicking off this episode, the poncho's gone, and he's covered in dust like he survived a sandstorm. The apocalypse hits fast, folks. Now, we all get to see Dippy Fresh in this episode, and this is his usual character design. However, when Dippy Fresh high-fives Seuss, he's suddenly rocking a skateboard helmet, which he's not wearing in any other part of the scene, even when he's actually skateboarding.
I'm Dippy Fresh. I like skateboarding, supporting my sister, and punctuating every sentence with a high five. Hup!
Oh.
Safety first, inconsistencies later. Now check this out.
Photo day.
Did you find anything strange in this short clip? No? Well, during this flashback scene to Picture Day, a falling leaf and a flag blow in opposite directions. Watch that again.
Photo day.
Basic physics said nope, and the animators went for maximum drama instead. We see another error in the Picture Day. Dipper's allergies are going crazy while Mabel is totally fine in the scene.
Darn allergies.
Boom! A million slap facelets!
That's weird, because Dipper mentioned this in the last episode.
But we do have this thing where our allergies totally act up at the same time.
So Gravity Falls just contradicted itself. Either Mabel found a magical cure, or we've hit another timeline. Okay, let's have a quick quiz. What or whom is Dipper named after? That's right, he's named after the Big Dipper. Yes, the constellation. Why? This is why. He has a birthmark in the shape of the Big Dipper on his forehead. And later in the episode, when Dipper shaves his front hair with a razor in the mindscape, his birthmark is missing.
Mabel, I figured out a way to fix your photo.
What? You have a wig?
No, but I have a razor.
Maybe razors in the dream world shave more than just hair. Now, as the multi-bear exits the bathroom for his hilarious cameo, Stan's neck is randomly colored white.
Just so everyone knows, we're out of toilet paper. Did I miss something?
That's like the opposite of a sunburn or an animation slip-up. Moving on, let's take a look at Bill Cipher's henchmen. I mean, these guys are pretty weird as they are, but the animators decide to make them even stranger by making multiple character design errors. For example, do you guys remember how Amorphous Shape's aura changed color in the last episode? Well, in this episode, he went full bonkers and lost his aura completely. Also, throughout the episode, several henchmaniacs like Teeth, Hectorgon, and Lava Lamp Guy lack their signature glowing auras as well. Turns out, even reality-warping monsters need to recharge their special effects budget. Also, Keyhole not only lost his aura in this episode, but also spends the entire episode missing the shades that normally circle his eyes. If you look closely, in the previous episode, he has a dark shade around his eyes, kind of like eye bags, but in this episode, he has none. And for the final mistake in this episode, we have Teeth's arms come directly from his mouth the whole time here, which looks super weird compared to the last episode, where they clearly sprouted from behind it. Continuity got eaten along with everything else apparently. Okay, so finally we have reached the final episode of the Gravity Falls Season 2. And after covering this, we'll have officially covered all of the errors and goofs made in Gravity Falls. So let's see how many of them we can catch in this episode. Now, this episode starts with a warm reunion for the Pine family.
Wait.
Uncle Stan!
Kids! I can't believe it!
Did you catch that? I mean, it's not even 10 seconds into the episode and the animators have already made a mistake. Just before Stan hugs Dipper and Mabel when they get back to the Mystery Shack, a random squiggled line flashes on his fez for a frame. Maybe it was supposed to be a dramatic stitch of love, or maybe the fez is glitching into a higher plane of existence. We all love to see Stan taking initiatives and protecting others, right? Now check this out.
Hey everyone! iPad!
Evasive maneuvers!
Keep it down!
But wait, his sash is acting up. When Stan rushes to slam the door on an eye-bat, his sash doesn't say Chief, it says Chife. Close enough, Stan. Not a big deal, right? I mean, it's not the first time the editors have failed at basic toddler skills. And then when Dipper and Mabel rally the Shack refugees, Toby's doing the impossible. He's somehow standing in the crowd and lying down on the couch at the same time. Because initially, this is Toby, and as you can see, he's standing among the other characters. And just a few shots later, check this out. He's resting on the couch. Toby has finally unlocked quantum physics. Now, putting Toby aside, this entire planning scene is a total mess. Check this out. During the plan huddle, you can clearly hear Mabel talking, but her mouth doesn't move. Telepathy confirmed. Or maybe she's just that good at ventriloquism now, you know, since she's been practicing for a while now. And the goofs don't end there, because right after Wendy's seen huddled up with McGucket, Seuss, Dipper, and Mabel, she magically teleports behind Stan in the next shot. Check this out. She's discussing the plan with the others in this shot, and in the very next shot, she just teleported behind Stan. Wendy's got stealth skills no one ever gave her credit for. Or maybe we should credit the animators for these errors. Also, when Pacifica first puts on the llama sweater for the Zodiac, her hair clips right through the sweater like a bad video game glitch. It's fine. Fashion emergencies happen even during the apocalypse. But this is more of a mistake on the editor's side, no? Okay, this one is very subtle, and maybe that's why no one noticed it before, but how could it pass by our sight unnoticed? During the big henchman showdown, Keyhole's keyhole is blue instead of its usual black.
Henchmaniacs, you know what to do!
See this? His keyhole is blue, but this is how it's supposed to look. And when Wendy smacks 8-Ball with an eye bat, 8-Ball's nails, stomach, and cuffs all turn dark green like his skin, even though that's not his original character design. Either he's camouflaging or just got a really fast accidental paint job. Also, originally, McGucket is shown controlling the Gobblewonker's head from a room packed with monitors, like here in this scene. But later, he's chilling by a window, and all of the screens that were in front of him in the previous scene are gone now. Either he moved rooms mid-battle or the animators made yet another mistake. And in this episode, Dipper uses the height-altering crystals on a snow globe, and the purple light makes it bigger. But hold up, in the episode Little Dipper, purple was the color that made things smaller. Reality's totally broken at this point, so why not? And it's not like this is the first time the guys over at the Gravity Falls studio are mixing up colors, right? Still, mixing up colors is one thing, but mixing up entire family members? That's going too far, even for Gravity Falls. When Wendy reunites her family, 2 of her little brothers are not even her real brothers. That's right, this is the actual Corduroy family. And this is what we see in this episode. And these two little kids here have been swapped by some background characters from previous episodes. Even the Gravity Falls gene pool is weird. And then, during the clapping scene for Blubs and Derlin's reunion, Lazy Susan isn't wearing any lipstick.
My blubs!
Don't you ever scare me like that again.
Okay, fine. But then why is she wearing lipstick in literally every other shot? Maybe she got too emotional and wiped it off for their reunion? And when Ford draws the Zodiac with a spray can, the can is black. But when Mabel sprays paint into Bill's giant eye, suddenly the can's brown. Guess it changed colors out of sheer adrenaline. More like the animators changed the colors out of sheer stupidity. Too much? I don't think so. Also, in the overhead shot showing most Zodiac positions filled, Pacifica is already chilling in the llama slot, yet somehow seconds later we see her entering it.
This is freaky.
Time hiccup? Who knows anymore? Now watch this.
A question mark. This one's unsolvable.
Nothing out of the ordinary, right? But wait, when Seuss is puzzling over who's the question mark in the Zodiac, his shirt randomly shifts to a lighter teal color mid-sequence. Yes, that's right. If you look closely, this and these are different colors. And if you think they're the same, well, you should get your eyes checked. Maybe he sweated through it. Also, check out this scene.
Do it, sweetie. Do the one thing no one in our family has ever done. Touch the hillbilly.
That's usual behavior for the Northwest family, right? Yes, it is. But the mistake here is with Robbie. When Pacifica's parents tell her to touch the hillbilly, Robbie's standing right behind them. However, he's supposed to be in his Zodiac slot. Either he's shirking duty or the editing glitched hard. Also, as Ford calls Stan over to complete the Zodiac, Robbie's hand clearly has 5 fingers. Robbie went from 4 fingers to 5. Must have been some intense character growth, no? But again, this is nothing new. Remember the posters for his band? He had 5 fingers in that as well. And it's not just Robbie that is messed up, because in one scene, when Wendy, Gideon, and McGucket ready themselves to fight Bill Cipher, Wendy's got 5 fingers on both hands. She's tough, but not that tough. And after Schmeebelach gets eaten by Teeth, Teeth grows slightly bigger. Check this out.
Never take us alive, monsters!
That's fine with us. Go.
This is the before, and this is the after. Notice the slight change in height? Proof that eating gnomes does in fact give you energy. Gross, but effective. Also, inside Stan's mindscape, this is the tapestry for the Royal Order of the Holy Mackerel. And this is the same tapestry a few shots later. Notice the difference? Yep, they're both different colors. It's hard to keep track of your secret society decor when your brain's getting erased, I guess. Now remember this streak in Ford's hair? It's not there earlier in the episode when Bill ties Ford and Stan. Maybe stick to the character design once you've decided on it. Now earlier in the episode, Toby did the impossible by existing in 2 places at once. And now, he's doing wardrobe changes using his quantum principle knowledge as well. Because at Dipper and Mabel's birthday party, Toby is initially rocking his bodacious tea look. But right before the scene cuts to evening, he's magically back in his old outfit. Maybe he has party clothes quick change powers. And after creating 2 seasons filled with goofs, mistakes, and errors, the editors decided to end the series with yet another mistake. And the final mistake is in the ending scene of Gravity Falls, Season 2, Episode Weirdmageddon 3, where Thompson's name is misspelled as Thompson on the See You Next Summer note. Poor Thompson can't catch a break. Even his goodbye note got his name wrong. And that's a wrap on the weirdest goofs in the weirdest town in America. From vanishing scars to spontaneously appearing snacks, Gravity Falls may be full of mysteries, but even mystery can't hide from continuity errors. If you spotted one we missed, drop it in the comments like Dipper drops logic when Wendy's around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, or Bill Cipher might show up in your bathroom mirror. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye.